Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WRAL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's Wealth Coach and author of the big book on retirement, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, explain what's factored in when using your financial fill-up strategy in retirement planning.
The magic here is you tell us what kind of paycheck you're making now, and we make sure that you get at least that, if not more. We like to factor in more money in retirement. There's a lot of planners that say you only need 60 or 70% of what you're earning now to retire. What kind of retirement would that be if you don't have the same amount of money coming in? I want 130% money coming in from my clients or myself. I want more 200%. You want more money coming in retirement because every day is a weekend. And I spend a lot more money on Saturday and Sunday than I do Monday through Friday. I don't know about you, but I do. There's no games or gimmicks, so make sure you're dealing with a true fiduciary planner. Call right now, and you can get that done as soon as next week.
888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. This afternoon, a few isolated thunderstorms popping up with a high of 90 degrees. But a cold front sinks southward tonight and stays with us tomorrow. That means some heavy rain is likely, and there's a flood watch in effect for the rest of the day today and tomorrow. We'll see a high tomorrow of only 77 with a good chance for rain.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 64 points today to 52,288. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Deep left corner of the end zone. Jalen Coker hauls it in for a touchdown.
Off the back iron. Wilson comes soaring in to dunk it home.
Copeland jabs on him a couple of times. Step back three-pointer, left corner, swish.
One dribble out for Boozer for three. Big time! And the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm back. Tim Donnelly here. Max Gorin producing the show. Shout out to everybody that covered for me while I was out. Although the mic is a little wobbly here, so let me put you through that as we try to tighten it up. There we go. Hot start for my return. The Iron Man streak is over. I don't know how many years I am into this, like 13 something. My very first sick days of my career, Monday and Tuesday. That's what having little kids will do.
I didn't realize you were on that Ripken-esque streak.
Not quite, but
yeah. How long was that?
Because I've longer than 13 years.
3,000 games. That's
he
like
went
what?
15 at shortstop. 15 years at shortstop. So
it's crazy.
Then he transitioned over to third base. I've played a few different positions in the run, but first sick days of my career were taken Monday and Tuesday.
That's probably a somewhat unbreakable record in terms of that's like the Cal Ripken of sports media. Probably, surely somebody is.
I'm sure there are those out there that have bested me, but I was pretty proud of it. Probably isn't one you should go for because if you're sick, you should stay home and keep everybody else not sick. But I've worked in some pretty small offices where it wasn't like we would cover them. So anyway, my point is I'm back. I had 2 days off. Thank you to everybody that covered. Thank you to everybody that tweeted or texted or DM'd asking where I was. But I was not having a good time. I'm having a much better time now. So let's have the same way we start every show. Start this one. Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Big 3 at 3 presented by Mainer Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Nothing like being sick to appreciate your house. So if you want everything in your house running smoothly, MainerServices.com. MAYNOR Services.com. Number 1 is Taylor Moton's on the non-football illness list with blood clots. Now, I'm not saying I planned it, but if you take 2 days off in sports media and it's 2 days in July before training camp gets started, you should feel pretty comfortable that there's not going to be any crazy breaking news.
There are a lot worse times to be sick in this industry.
You should not expect your offensive line of the team you cover to somehow already be testing their depth when you come back from 2 days off in the middle of July. But that's exactly what happened. Taylor Moton, blood clots, super serious, right? I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be. But when you start talking about things like that, I know that some people, like Chris Bosch comes to mind, kind of were discussed with blood clots. And then
Frederick Anderson.
Frederick Anderson. But Frederick Anderson played again. Chris Bosch kind of never really got cleared to play again. So I know it's serious. The blood thinners and the whatever strategies that doctors go through, super serious. So I don't want to make this like, oh, he's going through something, but my offensive line. But kind of my offensive line. This is why there's never a bad team to draft an offensive lineman. There's never a bad time, never a bad team, never a bad moment to draft an offensive lineman. Didn't even make it to the beginning of training camp before their offensive line depth took a hit. So now it appears as if Taylor Moton is going to miss time during the regular season, which does lead us to believe, and it kind of was confirmed today, and we'll play some audio for you here in a second, that the top pick, Monroe Freeling, will, instead of competing for a left tackle starting spot, bump over and have less competition to be the starting right tackle. That's not fantastic. However, Dan Morgan did talk about Freeling starting at right tackle with Moton out earlier today, Dan Morgan being their GM. We'll play that audio for you right now.
think, Coach Canales will talk to you tomorrow, but I'll just kind of lay the groundwork a little bit. Monroe is going to be at right tackle. We're going to leave Rashid at left tackle. We have Stone Forsyth. We just re-signed Brady Christensen, who can play both sides. We got some undrafted rookies that we're excited about. So I think we'll be covered there. We feel good about it. And, I know Timo will definitely support, Monroe there at right tackle and teach him all he knows. So, yeah, we feel good about it.
Another good example on why you draft athletic offensive linemen. You'll never believe it. Some offensive linemen have a side. They're like, I am a left side player. I can only kick step with one foot. I can only do all these. That's not Monroe Freeling. He's a basketball player going back to his high school days. He's super athletic. Bumping him over to the right side shouldn't be the end of the world, but it does, in a big way, limit how confident you are as far as withstanding injuries or unavailabilities for whatever reason. That will be alleviated over time, right? Hopefully Taylor Moton can come back. Hopefully Ike Ekwonu can come back. Hopefully their depth will build as the season goes along, but it's going to start pretty shaky. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
With veterans reporting today, rookies reporting yesterday, practice starting tomorrow, the audio from training camp is going to start flowing like the rivers of Aspen. That's not to say the insight always is flowing, but at least the audio will. For example, Bryce Young was on ESPN. He was on SportsCenter last night, and, he wanted to let everybody know that Tetero McMillan is a special player.
Being around him a good amount this offseason, I'm just really excited for him. Obviously, I've had a ton of success, but you wouldn't know it by the way that he carries himself. He attacks every single day. Again, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for all of us as a team. And then now as training camp is knocking on the door, it's time for us to, start the year and start building.
You're never going to get anything out of Bryce.
He is like the most perfectly media trained, professional interview giver ever.
I was going to say, I don't say that as an insult. I just say it as an observation. There are certain players in sports who you ask the question. I want to say politician-like, but that comes across as an insult, right? Because politicians know no matter what question you ask, they can answer whatever they want. They're like, oh, good, I'm glad you asked about the budget deficit. Education has always been a big part of my, right? They just steer it wherever they want to. Bryce doesn't necessarily do that. He just doesn't say much if he doesn't want to say anything. So you have to look for your insights in actions, look for your insights in other ways, which is fair. And maybe that could come from somebody like a teammate. Derek Brown spoke to the media today to start off training camp. And again, like I said, rookies yesterday, veterans today. And Derek Brown on the vibe amongst the team as veterans report.
I mean, I think everybody's, the tone's already been set. Like, it's just this is what we want to be able to take these 90 guys and go out here and put something special on tape. And, we know what it takes to be able to go through. It's going to be a hard camp. We know that. And, to be able to, have better results than what we had last year. I mean, that's always the goal entering this thing.
Okay, maybe he's not going to say a ton either. There's not a ton to respond to. We will play audio for you throughout the show. But if we're being real, the Panthers, they set a bar last year. They made the playoffs. They're going to do everything they can to chase it. That is number two. Let's get to number three.
Number three.
Carolina Hurricanes fans. By the way, I'm wearing one of my Stanley Cup champ shirts today. Carolina Hurricanes fans, I'm sure you're up in arms. New NHL centralized broadcast coming your way. What does that mean? Well, we're not 100% sure yet. But the old, what was it, the FanDuel app that you all have on your Roku?
Yeah, the FanDuel Sports Network, previously Bally Sports, previously Fox Sports Carolinas, and now nothing.
Yeah, now that's just no more. You can delete that from your Roku or whatever streaming hub you use. The Blue Jackets, the Blues, the Wild, and your Carolina Hurricanes are moving towards the NHL's newly created centralized production arm for their local telecasts. There's going to be kinks that they have to work out. Let's just call it what it is. I think this is in some ways the way that a lot of non-primetime games are going to go. Because the leagues just keep selling off their rights to all these streamers and networks and all. Eventually they're going to realize, like, oh, can we just do this ourselves and pocket all the money that, like, if they're paying us $6 billion or they're paying us $10 billion or they're paying us $2 billion for the rights to do this, they must be making more than that. Why are we letting them do it when you can do it internally? So I think that's going to happen eventually. The NHL obviously has some unique broadcast, I don't want to say problems, but hurdles that they have to overcome. And different teams are finding different ways to do so. But there's a world where, you just go to the NHL to get NHL games. You go to the NFL to get NFL games. And we don't have to, as we complain about all the time, I got to try 6 streaming services before I finally find the game that I'm looking for. If we can avoid that, I'm with it. But then also be prepared. State-owned propaganda is state-owned propaganda. So, if the NHL is producing the halftime show, you're going to get the NHL version of everything going on when you are the intermission. Got to get out of football move.
Yeah.
You're going to get exactly what they want you to get.
It'll be a little more nationally focused. I definitely read that. I think in the original Sports Business Journal article, is the idea is the coverage of these local broadcasts will incorporate elements from around the league a little bit more. So you'll be getting not just the focus on your team, which is obviously the number one priority of a local TV broadcast, but you'll be getting to see more of the big news, notes, stats, big performances from around the league, and help inform everybody a little bit better. So I actually think that's going to be a positive for it. And then the biggest positive for me is this has to mean there's going to be a new score bug. Because that bar, the Bally bar turned FanDuel Sports Network bar at the bottom, was so ugly, it was so basic, and hopefully they don't come out with a worse one somehow. I don't think you could, but it should be progress in that regard. I'm excited for that.
My state-owned propaganda line was simply to, I wouldn't expect the harshest criticism of refs or calls or anything when the NHL is part of the owner of the broadcast. Not saying we always got the most fierce criticisms, but definitely possible. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was the Big 3 at 3, presented by Maynor Service Company. Again, check them out online, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Up next are the Carolina Panthers, as veterans report today, not quite as young as we thought they were. Stick around.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For a million different reasons, for a bunch of different people. For the Carolina Panthers, tomorrow's first practice marks the beginning of a real make-or-break year, kind of a put-up or shut-up year. For a bunch of different reasons, for a bunch of different people. But it may be a bit more dire than even I suspected. ESPN put out an article ranking the talent of every roster if you just ranked them based on players that were under 25 years old. Now, some people out there are like, 25 years old, what's that, like a college junior these days? Eventually, they'll get eligibility reined in, and they'll be back to it. But you can still oftentimes judge the long-term health of an NFL team by two things. One, their ability to win right now, right? If you're a favorite going into this year, age be darned, you chase that championship. Think of like the Rams. Or how talented you are under the age of 25. And if you want to call it 26, if you want to call it 24, my point is exceptionally young talent for a few reasons. One, it's usually cheap because you're still on rookie contracts. And two, if you want it to be around for a long time, that talent can be around for a long time. So even if your team's not good, if you have more talent than the average team that is exceptionally young, you can point to that and go, we're doing just fine. So when they put out the ranking of every team, top to bottom, of most talent under the age of 25, I had gotten pretty used to not having to scroll super far for the Panthers. Their full talent of the roster, you got to scroll all the way to the bottom the last few years. But they usually have a few guys young enough to be exciting. 21st ranked. 21st ranked. You're looking right, flirting with, and you can do the math, I'm not going to do it, flirting with bottom third of the league in young talent by the Carolina Panthers. That startled me. That puts the make-or-breakness of this year on this roster significantly higher than I thought it was. Because they're the worst feeling in sports, and I've been a fan of a few teams that have done this in my life. The worst feeling in sports as a fan is when your rebuilding team still thinks they are rebuilding, but the roster is past that point. And you're like, guys, this core that was supposed to develop into the contending core, it ain't it, and they're getting older. In a lot of ways, I'll go cross-sport with it, it's why the Hornets traded LaMelo Ball. Because it just resets some of those numbers a little bit. And if you don't do that, now your core, and Miles Bridges, your core is just getting a little bit older, and it sneaks up on you. Because it seems like Miles Bridges and it seems like LaMelo Ball are in that same category as Con Knipple, but they really aren't. The Panthers pass catchers, and the article explains this, they're built for the future. Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker, obviously Brazel, the rookie who they just drafted, Jatavian Sanders, Mitchell Evans in the tight end room, even a Jimmy Horn Jr. They're all under 25. You're doing fine there, which is good because those are positions that traditionally can play for a while. So you're doing fine there. And then there's a smattering, right? There's the current rookies, a couple of edge rushers from last year. But it doesn't take you very long to get to and Shaw Smith-Wade, Trevin Wallace, who are completely unproven players. They've played some snaps, but as far as are they a piece of a core, are completely unproven. So when you look at this roster, whether you love the future of where they're going or you think that last year was all fraudulent and their point totals and everything weren't where they should have been for a team that makes the playoffs, this year is absolutely make or break. Because what you don't want to have happen is suddenly you look at your core and they're all much older than you think and you haven't contended yet. And I don't believe last year was a contention year, just so you know. They made the playoffs. They looked good against the Rams. Nobody thought they were going to win the conference even, let alone a Super Bowl. 21st in talent under 25. That becomes a real issue. Speaking of, Dan Morgan on that wide receiver room, right? Pass catchers. One I mentioned, one I didn't even bother mentioning when listing the players under 25, partially because he might be older now that I mention it. How old does Xavier Legette? He's 25, so he's not under 25. Think about that. Still hoping on that potential. But the wide receiver room, the pass catcher is one of those young groups. Here's Dan Morgan on the wide receiver room, particularly Legette and Brazel, who are going to be competing for that third, fourth, potentially fifth wide receiver spot.
Yeah, really good. Really proud of Xavier, the way he's attacked this offseason. He's in great shape right now. Just really excited where he's headed. He's in a great headspace. He's looking forward to going out there competing, and I'm looking forward to seeing him out there competing as well. Same thing with Chris Brazel. He's really attacked this offseason as well, just working out hard every day. Looks great right now, is in great shape. Just looking forward to the competition out there in general with every position group. I think there's going to be a lot of competition.
I want to be very crystal clear on any criticism that I bring up about Xavier Legette. It's never been a work ethic thing. It's a football player thing, right? I think he shows up in shape. I think he tries hard. I don't hold against him, especially not this offseason, but last offseason where he did all the hey, I'm famous stuff, where he was on music album covers and he was at the Kentucky Derby and he was doing all. I don't hold any of that against him because it appears as if everyone's always been pleased with his work ethic. But you got to be able to make the nuance, right? It's what Jalen Coker has in spades. You got to be able to make the plays. You got to be able to win on the football field. So I don't even include Xavier Legette in the young core, even if he were under 25. And at a certain point, it's crazy to start talking about it, but how many years away are the Panthers from contending for real? Do you think they're really in the mix to win a Super Bowl this year?
Probably not.
I would say definitely not. To win a Super Bowl. Next year, maybe the earliest you could hope for if every single break goes your way?
It's hard to say without seeing what these new additions on defense can really add, because they got some big-time additions in Phillips and Lloyd, and you can hope for a continued progression for Bryce Young and the offense. I don't know if it's enough to get to Super Bowl level in the next year or two.
At the minimum, you'd need leaps forward by Bryce, leaps forward by one of Princely Umanmielen and Nick Scorton, and a leap forward by the other. You would need Monroe Freeling to be a monster. There's at minimum, that's what you need. And by the way, that's most of the NFL, right? If you're not a contender now, you need people to get better. But my point is, you're not that far away from Taylor Moton being a bit older, and suddenly, even a Derek Brown or a J.C. Horn, their ages will start with a 3. It sneaks up on you. It snuck up on me, because if you would have asked me best talent under 25 in the NFL, last year the Panthers were 12th. I would have guessed right about there. 21st is a cold glass of water to the face for a team who I think is still in the building portion, right? I mean, even this offseason, oh my goodness, Dan Morgan, Brant Tillis and Dan Morgan had the whole, there's 3 stages, right? You're building, you're contending, then you're sustaining, whatever the 3 were. They're still in the building category. And they're now in a building category with a top third in the league kind of talent age, meaning high. That's not what you're hoping for. Unless they drafted exceptionally well, and then obviously if their 5th round pick becomes a star, that's going to be a player that is under the age of 25, and it's going to boost those totals. That's a big if, though. Hope's not a strategy, as my offensive coordinator beat into my brain all college. Hope is not a strategy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, first time in a while, we're going to hit the Dean's List, at least first time for me in a while. We're going to hit the Dean's List and pass around some college sports love. Stick around. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Miller Lending, listen, I said it earlier. When you're sick and you're not leaving your house and you got your whole family sick, that's what happened to me the last 2 days, and we're all stuck inside the house, you appreciate your house, right? If you just had that moment and now you're like, you know what? We need a bigger house. We need a little bit more space. If that happened to you, you don't want to have to wait and play the timing game, but rates aren't where we want them to be. They're going to be lower next week. I've got a friend in the industry says they're going to be lower a year from now. We're not going to do it now. And in the meantime, you're just going to struggle in a house that's too small for you. Miller Lending wants you to know timing, can't always control it, but how flexible you are to take advantage of timing, you can control that. They offer a no-cost loan, which means get your mortgage rate now, lock it in. If rates go down, no cost, no fees, none of the closing costs, no hidden surcharges, none of it. You just get your lower monthly payments if you refi with Miller Lending. Miller Lending makes sure that you can take advantage of a volatile market, and if you need to move, like now, bigger house, smaller house, cross town, cross cities, whatever, Miller Lending is there for you. The number to call, locally owned, by the way, so you'll be talking to someone right here in the Triangle, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll be back after this with that aforementioned Dean's List. Stick around.
Hi, friends. This is Mark Pons from Chapel Hill Tire. I get it. You don't wake up excited to schedule car maintenance. Between work, school, family activities, and everything else life throws your way, it can be tough to find the time. That's why I'm excited to share that our University Place and Crabtree locations are open Saturdays from 8 to 5. Now you'll have one more option for taking care of your vehicle. Schedule your Saturday appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog, too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day. By the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. If you don't already, you should. Building a community there. We want you to be a part of it. So go ahead and jump in the YouTube comments. We do our live stream every day, waving to everybody out there right now. But also the podcast, the daily show clips that we post. It's a pretty fun deal. And we do often bring onto the show. We actually will tomorrow as part of Feedback Frenzy, bring on comments and we react to them live on air. So jump on our YouTube, subscribe, comment, start the conversation, send it to your buddies, send it to your friends, and you might just hear yourself here right on air. Now that that's out of the way, let's jump into the Dean's List. We'll start with Lee Pace. Lee Pace, 22 years as UNC football sideline reporter. stepping down from the position. Still going to do some things covering the team, some writing, some podcasting and things. But anyone in sports media will tell you 22 years is a long time doing anything in sports media, particularly something that eats up into a bunch of your weekends for an entire section of the calendar. So Lee Pace, congratulations. Great work. 2+ decades. Got to start the Bill Belichick era, which I'm sure is a crazy thing to say out loud. And now he is calling it donezo from the sidelines. More Dean's List. The East-West Shrine Bowl, which is one of the college all-star games, football, put out their East-West Shrine Bowl 1000. So the director of college scouting, whatever, player evaluation, I don't know what his exact title is, for the Shrine Bowl went to Delaware. So I follow him just out of pure, hens for life mentality. But he said they evaluated over 7,000 players to come down to the 1,000. Because part of me was like, you're putting 1,000 names on a college all-star watch list? Did you have to go, create, are all these names real? Did you come up with, 700 names? Because they all have to be draft eligible and everything. But he said 7,000 were evaluated. They came up with 1,000 on there. I have the names, but I'll give you the teams first. 9 players from Duke, 7 from NC State, 5 from UNC. This is often the first time some people will hear of the players that are going to decide their seasons for those teams, right? Stepping up into bigger roles, replacing players that moved on, or are just, ready for their glow up in a lot of ways. Somebody like Walker Eaget maybe for Duke, incoming transfer quarterback, stepping in for Darian Mensah. He's on the watch list. What about, and I mispronounce his name every time, Jamarian McCrimmon, offensive tackle for NC State, coming in out of the transfer portal, replacing Jacarius Peak, who left in the transfer portal to South Carolina. If he shows up, makes some plays as a left tackle, how good could that offense be? By the way, everyone I'm saying is on this list. They're on the Dean's List, and the ones that I don't get to because I'm not going to read however many names that is total. But even somebody like Harvey Dyson, edge rusher, NC State, makes the list. If that defense can be partially more effective than it's been in the past, meaning last year, how good can NC State be? Their offense was really, really good last year. You look statistically, they achieved some milestones that, what was that? I forget what the stat was, but there's some statistical balance, X amount of rushing yards, X amount of passing yards, X amount of touchdowns at each, that of the 15 teams that had done it, 9 were in the CFP, 11 finished in the top 20 of the AP top 25, and NC State was not one of them. But they were in that top 15. And then for Carolina, a couple guys we talked about at the or talked with and about at the ACC Media Days, ACC Kickoff. Melkart Abu-Jaude, returning leading sack producer in the ACC. Billy Edwards Jr., their quarterback. They got apparently 4 guys in a quarterback competition right now. One of them, Billy Edwards Jr. If somebody wrestles that job away, I think that just makes everybody's job easier. Everybody's. So there's more. Again, plenty of players. 9 from Duke, 7 from NC State, 5 from UNC. We mentioned a few of them there. Luke Murgott, my guy, played at my high school for Duke, linebacker. He made it. At ACC Media Day, he was kind of off the clock, so it wasn't official on the record time. But we called his mom because she was my math teacher. She remembered me. I was a little nervous, but she remembered me. He was like, wouldn't it be funny if she doesn't remember you? I was like, no, wouldn't be funny at all. It would actually make this entire interaction really uncomfortable. But she remembered me, came through. Even remembered a few of my teammates. Max, do you have any Dean's Listers?
Yeah, I mentioned this briefly as just part of an update on Next Up earlier this week. We didn't get to touch on it much, but Carolina adding to their basketball roster a couple days ago got a transfer commitment from Angelo Brizzi, or Brizzi. I'm not really sure on the pronunciation, but graduate transfer guard coming from Buffalo most recently. Carolina is going to be his 5th school in 5 seasons.
Well-traveled.
Which is becoming more and more common. Previously at Villanova, Davidson, Longwood, and, of course, Buffalo last season. Averaged 14.5 points per game for the Bulls. Started all 32 games for them last year. So another piece added to the backcourt for Carolina at the guard position as Michael Malone tries to flesh out his roster for his first season as head coach in Chapel Hill. So, college basketball, not exactly the hot topic of discussion right now. I figure I'd throw that in there here in the Dean's List.
Angelo Brizzi is how I would pronounce it, but I could be wrong there as well. I see why he committed to Villanova out of high school. He just looks like the typical archidiacono, would have, could have, should have been a Villanova guard. 6'3", not the most physically imposing, but had a bunch of offers. Arizona, Cal, LSU. Ended up going the long way around college basketball, but he'll be at Carolina, and point guards with even combo guards with experience. Can't have too many of them in college basketball. Veteran guards. Remember when it used to be that simple? You were filling out your March Madness bracket, you just looked for whoever had veteran guards and you felt good about it?
I still do that.
Except now, how do you judge experience? He's got 4 years in the ACC. This guy has 1 year in the MAC, 1 year at JUCO, 1 year. It's more difficult. It used to just be, this guy's been there forever. He's rugged. They were part of a Cinderella team 2 years ago. He brings that experience back. Where's he been? Villanova, Davidson. Is that Longwood?
Longwood.
Was he part of the Longwood run? Longwood had a run.
Did they have a run?
They made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. That may have been the year. May have been the previous year. Maybe even a couple before that. But either way, if he's part of the Longwood run, I'm in. Played a lot for Buffalo. And one more here for the Dean's List as I stop reminiscing about Cinderellas of years past. Let's talk about Cinderellas of years past. Didn't do that on purpose. How about Davidson Steph Curry? I want to emphasize Davidson Steph Curry because the Basketball Hall of Fame is not the NBA Hall of Fame, right? It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. They are launching a new exhibit this weekend dedicated to what everybody is calling Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry, which is also the first time in the almost 75 years of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame that an active player will be honored within the walls with a dedicated exhibit. But I want to be clear. It's all of his basketball career. The Hall of Fame doesn't look at you and say you're a Warrior or you're an NBA player. They include your college, your international basketball, men's and women's, the whole thing. So Davidson's Steph Curry, as much as it is Golden State's Steph Curry, will have the first active player exhibit within the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I assume it's about how he changed the game, shooting and everything, which is talked about often. But unless you want to say it started when he was 4 years old shooting with his dad, that started at Davidson, really, at the level that he's going to be celebrated. So shout out to Davidson. And maybe that's a shout out to everybody that you don't have to transfer and everything. That guy stayed at Davidson even when he could have went to the NBA for another year. That's it. There's the Dean's List here on The Drive. If we missed any, if you think there's someone in the college sports world that deserves a little extra praise, you can always jump in the YouTube comments, 99.9 The Fan, live stream, or you can just tweet it at me at Donnelly Sports on Twitter or x.com. And as long as we see it and it's good, we'll bring it on air. If we see it and it's not good, we'll still thank you and appreciate it. Just might not make its way on air. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I've had some time to reflect on ACC Kickoff from last week. 2 days off. I've done the reflecting. What were the biggest takeaways for Duke, Carolina, NC State? I'll tell you next.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows, but man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're
I had
there
to
to
serve
help.
dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time when we have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. You're just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. They got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durham Road. Open 7 days a week.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. ACC Kickoff was last week. Thank you to everybody that followed along. YouTube, live, the whole deal. It was really fun. It's always a good time to get out there and talk with everybody. See the humanity in some players and coaches that become just subjects that we talk about quite often. Even when we have them on like the phone or something, not being able to look them in the eye changes everything. I'm going to go with an analogy here from the one creative writing class that I took in college. Okay. Our teacher used to tell us this, and I never listened because I was just trying to get a grade. I wasn't trying to become a creative writer. You'd write your first draft, she'd read it. She then told us to delete it all. Right? She was like back in the day before computers, she would like watch us rip them up, but it's all saved on a hard drive somewhere now. Delete it all and rewrite it. And the reason why she said that was you're going to remember the good stuff. Right? You're going to forget all the stuff that was like, I'm just filling pages here because I have a word limit I need to get to. But the stuff you really liked, that's going to be the stuff you remember. And you're like, oh, right. How do I get from these two good pieces? How do I get from that good part to that good part? If you don't remember, it must not have been that good. Find a new way. So this morning, with ACC Kickoff being done on Friday, and then I had a full weekend. I had a couple days out sick. I'm back. I was like, I have all the notes. I take vigorous notes. So I have them all there. They're right on my desk. I'm not going to open the notes, and I'm going to write down the 3 takeaways that I had for Duke, State, and Carolina. And then those will be the good parts, right? Those will be the most important parts. Even if I go to my notes and I have something else circled, like that's not what I remembered. And then I did go back and look at the notes, and these actually weren't the things that I thought were most important for 2 of the 3. One of them it was exactly. Max, go ahead and pick a school, and we'll start there.
Start with the ACC champions. Start with Duke.
Duke. The thing that stuck out to me about Duke was they have to bring in players, meaning recruits, transfers, the whole deal. This is my words, not theirs, that put Duke on a pedestal. Right? One of the things I found fascinating, and came up with a few different coaches that I talked to at ACC Kickoff, is how they're all handling the portal. Bill O'Brien was the first to bring it up, I think, the Boston College head coach. And he said in January he got some more money, right? Boston College ponied up some more cash. And one of the first things he did was expand his scouting staff. Because he was like, now we have high school scouting staff, recruiting staff, and we have transfer portal evaluation recruiting staff. And I was like, goodness, that's interesting, right? And he's running it more like an NFL team, which has like draft scouting, college scouting, and pro scouting. So then I started, if we had a minute or two and we didn't have a ton of time, I started slipping that into the rest of the coaches we talked to. And when I brought up to Manny, I was like, how are you handling the just vast numbers of the portal? Talking to Manny Diaz, head coach at Duke. And he was like, not that difficult for us. He said if the transfer portal is a Walmart and you got everything out there, he's like, we might get to shop in 2 aisles. We don't need all of that because of their academics. And somehow we were talking in that conversation about how they brought in Cooper Barkate last year from Harvard. They're bringing in a Penn wide receiver this year. They're bringing in another big guy from the Ivy Leagues. And he's like, yeah, like we have to scour the Ivy Leagues based on our academics. And then paired with that, one of the big stories of ACC Kickoff is how everybody tiptoed around the Darian Mensah situation, right? With Miami, which I don't think a lot of people believed, but they were pleading their case, saying, we were in the market for a quarterback, and once we saw Darian Mensah go into the portal, we then had already, made our decision that we should pursue Darian Mensah, when pretty much everybody involved believed Miami was pursuing Darian Mensah well before he went into the portal. But again, you only can say what you can prove, so things were said. The whole breakdown, right? That whole thing happens, and all I could think of was if Duke football is not going to be able to pay like everybody else, and they are going to have to shop in a more restricted aisle, they better find guys that love Duke. And the next thing that popped into my brain was Caleb Foster of their basketball team. Because Caleb Foster is a really interesting piece for Duke, right? He's coming up on his 4th year for Duke basketball, which that's so hard to do. Because if things go well, you get drafted if you play well at Duke. And if things go poorly, you transfer out and you go be a star somewhere else that'll give you more time at Duke than Duke. But Caleb Foster is there going into he's the rare veteran at Duke, and every time I'm like, wow, that's surprising. And then Duke tweets out the picture, and it's a picture of him when 11 years old, and he's wearing Duke gear, and I'm like, oh, that guy just loves Duke, and he got the opportunity to play for him. And I don't, obviously there's more people out there that love Duke basketball than love Duke football, but there are people that just love Duke nationally. By the way, it's a national brand. That's going to help. I'm not saying that it's going to get you to turn down every single Miami offer, right? I'm not saying that if the big money comes in, you're going to be like, yeah, but, when I was 12, every time I played video games, my team was Duke. I'm not saying that's going to do away with it, but they're in a unique spot. They have some brand loyalty out there that they can lean into, and I think that's part of their challenge, is identifying who just says that to get recruited by Duke and who actually believes that. People, when they're getting recruited, will say anything. They just want that Scully, which I guess now is an NIL check. I don't know. That's Duke's, the thing that stuck with me the most from ACC Kickoff. What team should we go to next, Max?
Let's just go 8 miles down the road to Chapel Hill for Carolina.
The thing that stuck out to me the most, and you picked the two that were not what I had circled in my notes. These were the two that changed based on my initial reactions and what I remembered 5 days later. Secrecy is not helping Carolina. Secrecy is not helping. And I could put it this way. I'm fairly confident. We didn't get them all because there's only so much time in the day and their schedules and our schedules and everything. But I'm fairly confident if there was a coach in the ACC that we desperately wanted to talk to, we could have talked to any of them other than Belichick. We talked with Dabo Swinney. We talked with all the other head coaches from the state of North Carolina. We talked with as I said, Bill O'Brien. We talked with Pat Narduzzi of Pitt. I think if we desperately wanted to talk to Stanford's head coach or Syracuse's head coach, we could have leaned on some people and made it happen. I don't think there is a place where Bill Belichick would have come down to Radio Row and sat at our table and talked. And I don't think that's helping them. And I don't even want to say we would be easier on you if, no. And I'm not even saying our opinion carries that much weight. But when you are, I don't even want to say struggling. When you are at the beginning of a rebuild, you need patience from people. And the only way you get patience is by not asking for it, but kind of showing your cards. Answering questions honestly. You got to give the media and you have to give the fans a little bit more access and also a little bit more credit. Right? You can't just trot out everything was new over and over and over again and expect us to be like, oh, now we get it. And then on top of that, they're like secrecy might not even be the right word, but just a lack of openness, right? Do I really believe that they have 4 quarterbacks in a quarterback competition right now and it's equal? In the words of Bill Belichick, nobody is the leader in the clubhouse. Everyone is out on the course. 4 quarterbacks of varying degrees of pedigree, varying degrees of age, varying degrees of everything. Like, it's impossible. There's some kind of pecking order. And you can say, like, everybody still has a chance. Listen, when we go with the ones, it's going to be these 2 guys getting the first reps. Like, you can give us that. Like, we've been around football. I've never once seen, the way we always did it in college was we built our entire practice in 10-play blocks, 10 plays. The starter got 8, the backup got 2. If there was a competition at either, they would just get divided up, right? If there was a competition for the starting quarterback, it'd be 5 and 5. If there was a competition for the backup quarterback, it'd be 8, 1 and 1. Like, you just divide. There's no way you're going 2, 2, 2, 2 with 4 guys. But that's what we were given, right? It's just like a hint of secrecy that really, really good teams get that benefit, and I don't think it's helping with the storytelling of Carolina. Just to keep it fair. Go ahead and pick the third team there, Max.
I guess we got to go with NC State here.
Yep. I thought you might go that place. This is the only one that didn't change. The CJ Bailey hype. But here's the maybe a different way than I phrased it on Friday. CJ Bailey is not only being hyped as one of, if not the top quarterback in the country by NC State and everyone kind of in that orbits NC State. He better be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Because I started doing the math, right? It's not even math. It's like just a little like credits and debits sheet. And I wonder if they didn't have to almost choose with their NIL dollars whether to keep CJ Bailey or keep some form of like Hollywood Smothers and Terrell Anderson and Noah Rogers and Jacarius Peak or CJ Bailey, and they picked CJ Bailey and then doubled down on that by going to bring in 2 of his Pop Warner teammates and Davion Goss and JoJo Trader, a running back and a wide receiver. And you start to realize that not only are they saying he could be X, Y, and Z, lofty, super good, super unbelievable, I think they need him to be lofty, super good, super unbelievable.
If only they could have brought in one more of his former teammates in Jeremiah Smith.
He joked about it. Like, no, he hurt my feelings. There's Jeremiah Smith was a high school teammate. I don't know if he was on those Pop Warner teams. He was a high school teammate for sure, though, as was JoJo Trader.
Imagine trying to cover Jeremiah Smith and Pop Warner.
I imagine it's not much different than watching someone try to cover Jeremiah Smith right now at the college level. Dude's already being compared to Julio. And was as a freshman. That's got to – I mean, we were talking with Wes Durham. He said that C.J. Bailey's Pop Warner team went something like 111-0. Never lost in like 3 or 4 years consecutively. Just ran over everybody in that South Florida area. But they're getting that band back together. But, again, that is more investing in C.J. Bailey, right? Bringing in those guys that are already kind of from his camp. So while on Friday and today, my biggest takeaway from ACC Kickoff for NC State football was that CJ Bailey's hype is going full steam downhill, and nobody is trying to slow it down, right? This isn't a situation where the coach is going like, well, I know everybody, let's see what he's got. We got to put some work in. Like Dave Doran was going like, yeah, should be mentioned with everyone. Should be at the top of lists. And I'm now my just next little build off of that is not only are they saying he is, he could be, he should be, they might be saying he better be. Quarterbacks can raise, I should say, the level of everybody around them. They might need him to. And they also need the defense to be better, and they need a few other things. But, CJ Bailey, he was our aura winner. He was the guy that walked in, commanded the room the most. But he's going to have to be more than just aura. He's going to have to be a lot of substance as well. Should we do Wake Forest quickly? Wake Forest, energy. Just Jake Dickert, energy hour. Startles me every time I'm around the guy. He's go, 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 go. It's like people, oftentimes during these interviews, they're doing a ton of interviews. People are bringing up and putting like water down for the coaches and players. He like drinks the water. I didn't even see him do it. It's just like, what is going on here? And the water's gone and he's still talking. It's like, what happened here? It's crazy. Seems like a good guy, but the energy is crazy. That's that's less fun. That's why I didn't include him, because it's less like football. It's just the number one takeaway is that guy doesn't get tired. And you're talking to his players, and his players are going like, yeah, you noticed the energy, huh? I'm like, yeah, we all do. That's a little ACC kickoff with a little time to reflect. What were the biggest takeaways for the teams we cover? When we come back, football at 4. More audio for you from the Carolina Panthers. Stick around.
Thea, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
When it comes to your roof, it's all about quality above with peace of mind below. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We're proud to be in our 20th year helping families and businesses keep the roof over their heads as economically as possible. We work on every type of roof, gutters, and skylights with quality repairs, maintenance, and replacements for your home, your business, and multifamily. We offer warranties with every new roof and financing options for homeowners, and we're now serving Southern Pines as well. Visit us to learn more at roofwerks.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a hot, sticky afternoon for us with a high of 90 and a few isolated storms likely to pop up. But a flood watch is in effect now all the way through tomorrow. Expect some heavy rain tonight and tomorrow. And of course, if you see water crossing the road, turn around, don't drown. Tomorrow will be a much cooler day with a high of 77.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 40 points today to 52,264.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Veterans report today for the Carolina Panthers. Rookies reported yesterday for the Carolina Panthers. Every NFL team will be at training camp within the next week. We've made it, everybody. We've made it. We have actual audio from actual players talking at actual training camp to break down. We have made it. Everybody else as excited as I am? Let's go ahead and play some of that audio for you. How about we first get the injuries out of the way? Because when training camp starts is also when if you want to have more players out there playing, if you need to have your roster designations, you need to put people on the PUP list, physically unable to perform, the NFI list, non-football injury list, the NFI list, non-football illness list. You got to put everybody where they need to go, so we learn a little bit. We knew that Turk Wharton wouldn't be starting with the team due to the neck injury. Dan Morgan, Turk Wharton being defensive lineman, I should say, for the Carolina Panthers. Dan Morgan, the GM, talked about the recovery process for the big man.
Yeah, he's making progress every single day. Of course, I don't have a timeline on it. The neck injuries, you got to be really careful with them, and he knows that, we're going to look out for his health first and foremost. But he's doing really well, making a lot of progress, and we feel optimistic about him getting back, during the season at some point, hopefully sooner than later.
There are a lot of guys on the Carolina Panthers. They are optimistic about getting back during the season, but we just don't know when. A lot of the big guys, and we're going to talk about a few of them here. Turk Wharton, I think it's fair to say at this point, he was at one point the big free agency signing on a defense for the Carolina Panthers. A bit of a disappointment, but more for availability reasons than play. He's struggled to stay on the field, and now this neck thing, got to be cautious with the neck injuries. J.C. Horn also opening up camp on the non-football injury list. That one was a bit more surprising. Here's Dan Morgan on how J.C. Horn, their stud corner, got hurt.
Yeah, I think JC was just, running. I don't think he had shoes on. He'll be able to probably explain it to you a little better when you talk to him. But, just cut his toe a little bit. Got some stitches in the toe. Nothing that's really a big deal that's going to keep him out. Nothing we're concerned about.
Hilarious explanation. He was running. Don't think he had shoes on. Stitches on his toe. I have like 10 more questions. I'm not sure if any of them matter.
Yeah, well, what surface was he running on? Why was he running without the shoes on?
It could be.
What did he cut his toe on?
It could be like super. Like some guys do train barefoot to strengthen their ankles. And if he's doing that and he's just like, I was at a local field and somebody had left a bottle or something, that makes a lot of sense. Got a little scrape. Stitches are nothing, right? If it doesn't include surgery, if you're not going in there and fixing tendons, like stitches are annoying more than anything. But hilarious nonetheless. That the GM had to be up there like, he'll explain it more. Not worried. If you're not worried, I'm not worried, Dan. Let's keep rolling around. How about the bigger news of the day being that Taylor Moton, starting late last month, I believe, was diagnosed with some blood clotting in his lung, and Taylor Moton expected to be the starting right tackle. So he's now on the non-football illness list and is expected to, or kind of predicted to, miss some actual game time. This is not just missing practices. This is missing actual game time. Let's go to who will start at right tackle, which would be the new guy, the new rookie, Monroe Freeling, the first-round draft pick, who we all assumed would be competing for the left tackle spot. He'll slide over to right. Here's Dan Morgan.
I think, Coach Canales will talk to you tomorrow, but I'll just kind of lay the groundwork a little bit. Monroe is going to be at right tackle. We're going to leave Rashid at left tackle. We have Stone Forsyth. We just re-signed Brady Christensen, who can play both sides. We got some undrafted rookies that we're excited about, so I think we'll be covered there. We feel good about it, and, I know T-Mo will definitely support, Monroe there at right tackle and teach him all he knows. So, yeah, we feel good about it.
The hilariousness of the NFL. The hilariousness. When they signed Brady Christensen, which was last week when we were at ACC Kickoff, Dennis actually proposed to me, now that you have a swing tackle with experience in the system, if he's healthy, would you entertain trading Rasheed Walker if Monroe Freeling looks the part at left tackle? Not even a practice went by. And by the way, my answer was absolutely not. I love, as a former quarterback, I love offensive line depth. And if you give that away, like Murphy's Law, right, you're going to need it. Turns out you didn't even have to give it away to need it. With this out, tackles, they do not grow on trees. Rasheed Walker, boom, left tackle. He was cheap. We were excited for it when they made the free agency addition. Now you just move your stud left tackle of the future over to right tackle, which, by the way, has been used in the past, right? There have been highly drafted left tackles that start their career on the right, get their feet wet, and then bump over to the blind side once a veteran vacates the position. It's why you can never have too much depth at the offensive line position. I also almost want to stop talking about it as the offensive line position, because people are like, oh, why do we need another offensive lineman? We need running back depth. And I'm going like, running back depth is depth for one position. Offensive line depth is depth for 5. You have 5 chances for someone to get hurt and need offensive line depth. If you have 2 running backs, you would need the same position to get hurt twice to be leaning heavily on your 3rd or 4th running back. Offensive line depth, you're more likely to need your 7th or 8th offensive lineman than you are to need like your 4th wide receiver in a huge way. So they did a good job. They built the team appropriately. You just, you wish you didn't need it this early. But again, guys will be coming back, as I said, at least hoping guys will be coming back. Let's go one more here on the Moton deal. Dan Morgan on starting the season without both starting tackles from last year. That being Ike Ekwonu, who's out with the injury. Now Taylor Moton, who's out with the illness. Here's Dan Morgan.
Yeah, I think that's why, I think depth, it matters so much in this league. And, drafting Monroe and taking the best player available, it happened to be a tackle, worked out really well for us. So we feel really good about him. We're confident in him, and I know he's going to attack it, and, he's going to be out there competing.
I would almost disagree with that. It's kind of annoying to make 2 really, really good decisions and be right back where you started. Right? The Rasheed Walker signing, I think, was a really good signing, right? They played the market. They found a very cheap starting caliber tackle, guy that started 40, 50 games with the Packers. Well, guess what? You're sliding him in essentially into the place of Taylor Moton, who is a really good starting caliber. He started way more than 40 or 50 games, but he's a veteran starting tackle. Ike Ekwonu, what was he? Young, athletic, still on a rookie contract tackle. You replaced him with your first-round pick, Monroe Freeling. I know they flipped him, but you get what I'm saying here. Spiritually replaced him, right? Right tackle, left tackle, who cares? Those are 2 good moves. I like the Monroe Freeling draft pick. I loved the value they got for Rasheed Walker, and they made a good pick and a great signing, and they're right back where they were because of injuries and illness. So it's like, I don't know if it's working out really well for you if you're kind of just avoiding catastrophe by the hair on your chin. Or I guess with Dan Morgan, he usually keeps it pretty clean shaven. Might be the gelled hair on his head. It's you need your it's like baseball, right? They're hitting the ball well. They have a low batting average on ball in play. It's like, oh, you drafted a guy. That's awesome. You're going to get all that value for it. It's like, actually, it's just going to help us avoid catastrophe. Well, at least you're seeing it, right? At least you're seeing the ball well. Let's hear from Bryce Young. Bryce Young spoke yesterday on ESPN. He was on SportsCenter, and he gave us some all-time coach speak on staying where your feet are.
If we start looking ahead this early, that's when we're not able to be at our best. So it's on us to make sure we stay where our feet are, chase our best right now, and then obviously when those challenges come around, we'll focus on those week in and week out.
Oh, coach speak, Bryce. There's an all-time, I love mic'd ups in case you can't tell. There's an all-time mic'd up of Joe Flacco where he's on like the outskirts of the team huddle and Ray Lewis is in there giving a pump-up speech and Joe is just turned into somebody next to him going like, I have no idea what he's saying in there. Like, it makes no sense. And essentially the person responds with like, it doesn't matter if you get it. Just gets everybody fired up, right? He's in there doing dances and talking about Eagles and whatever the heck else Ray Lewis is talking about. Bryce Young has to be the exact opposite, right? Like, I don't know if anybody's getting jacked up or hyped up off of his speeches, but they understand every word. Got to be where your feet are. We can't be looking ahead. We can't be thinking like that. It's like, I don't know. Great athletes hold grudges. Maybe there are a few teams that you're like, no, them, I want them. Tom Brady legendarily like circled everyone that was drafted above him and like chased their demise. I would say the games against those guys mattered a little bit more to him. I mean, they're like, what was it? Chad Pennington maybe was like 10 years later going like, geez, I'm sorry, Tom. What'd you want me to do? Not get drafted? You got to bury me every single time? Relax. I wasn't the one that made the choice. And I've said this before, and I'm never going to be satisfied. I want Bryce Young to get mad occasionally. I want him to just be a fierce competitor outwardly, publicly, every now and then, rather than just the CEO of the organization the entire time. I want him to snap at someone. It'll never happen. But maybe we can hope. Maybe we can wish. Maybe. Probably not. And lastly here, we'll go to Derek Brown, because this is what everybody's going to talk about, right? Tomorrow, day one. Can you tell during training camp how the season will go? All right, he's been around enough. Granted, he hasn't been around a ton of great teams, but he's been around a good one last year. He was asked if you can tell during training camp if there's any canaries in the mind on how the season will go. This was Derek Brown's answer.
Absolutely not. No time during camp can tell how the season's going to go. I think camp's one of those things that's just so hard that it pushes you to put you in the mindset of being in the worst position during the season, and then, seeing how you respond to adversity, that's a big part of it.
I think there are ways, you never know which. Right? It's I'm trying to think of a good example here. It's like the Hornets Summer League last year. Right, looking back, there were actual signs of a young core that could help the team and could transform the big league club, but nobody that was watching it knew it at the time, right? And now we're watching Summer League again, and is it happening? We don't know.
I knew it.
You knew it? You were saying this is where they stormed to the almost making the playoffs?
Of course. Well, then they started the year 4-14, but they turned it around.
They did. No, that's my point, is I do think there are things that happen in training camp that become the beginning of your season, but it's really hard to know, maybe impossible to know, which ones are real and which ones are not. And it used to be a lot easier when teams would let guys actually play in preseason. Now you get like one series of Bryce Young, and we're left to flail around with that. It's just a different league. And also Derek Brown talking about how tough camp is. For being real, and this isn't like me talking, but like former NFL, it's not that tough anymore. So much less contact. Two-a-days are gone. Right? There's only so many days you can be out there in the heat. It's a lot more just like memorization and film than it is actually going through all the adversity he was describing. But you are like, football players are like robots, right? They're trained to just be like, camp is so tough. It's not the Junction Boys out there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's Football at 4. By the way, Football at 4 brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. I'm out of practice. Not sure I said that one at the top, so I'm going to give him a little extra. Brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get off your keister and come to Heister. Football at 4 every single day of the week is brought to you by John Heister, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Thank you for their support. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I don't know what we're ranking yet. That's why we call it blind ranking. But we will be doing a blind ranking coming up here on The Drive. Before we can do that, though, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard. I talked about it earlier. If you are out there and you perhaps like me, the last few days have had an entire family feeling not great, sick, some bodily functions that you don't want to talk about on air, you learn real quickly how much you want your house to be comfortable, right? When you're getting the hots and the colds going through your body, you want to make sure that's the sickness and not just your air conditioner not working or working too hard. Heating systems, cooling systems, plumbing, again, don't want to talk about it, or electrical work. If they're not working in your house, it's like your house is sick. Call the doctors. Maynard Service Company. They can fix it all. It's a great time, by the way, to start thinking about heating maintenance. I know it's hot outside, so you're like, heating systems, heating maintenance. Get it done ahead of time, so by the time you need your heater, you have it working fully functional. The number to call is 919-361-0993. Again, heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical work, 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at MainorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. We'll take a break when we come back. Blind ranking as promised. Stick around.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. So good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Head to Refuel for great deals on all your favorite Pepsi products. Stock up on Pepsi at Refuel today.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Is there any motivation behind that rejoin music?
No, I just like the song.
Okay, all right. As I often say, I'm fascinated by Max Gorin's musical tastes and interests, and every time I learn something new, it just adds to it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We've been talking about a lot today. There's been some hockey mixed in. There's obviously a lot of football going on. Basketball transfer made it into the rundown here. So I have no idea where we're going with this. All I know is Max has set up a blind ranking, and we're going to play. What do you got for us, Max?
All right. Well, since we're doing sports radio now here in the dog days of summer in mid-July, I thought it would be a good time to blind rank months on the sports calendar.
Okay.
So you're going to be ranking based on basically what's your favorite time of year, which month, and like which events are going on during that time.
This is personal, or is there we go? This is personal? This is not what I think everybody else will say. This is what I will say.
I mean, it's your ranking.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I was looking to get like the correct ranking or if I'm just putting my own ranking out there. I'll go with my own. I like my own better than yours anyway. And by yours, that's everybody.
All right. Well, let's jump into it then. The first month that I'm going to give you is, we'll go with the month of June. During this month, you've got such events as the U.S. Open in golf, got the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final, as well as the NBA and NHL drafts, Major League Baseball regular season. I'm not sure. I believe would the College World Series be finishing in June as well? I think it is, right? Or would that be in May?
I have actually, off the top of my head, I don't know.
It is in June as well.
Yeah, no, it's because
College World Series as well.
Both baseball and softball start, I believe, in June. Perhaps.
So that's just a sampling of the events within the month of June on the sports calendar. 1 through 5, you've got all the slots open to start your blind ranking. Where are you going to put the month of June?
June is super solid. Super solid. I don't know if it, like, U.S. Open is great. It's not the Masters. You know what I mean? Men's college baseball World Series is great. It's not March Madness. Like there's a lot of that going on. NBA draft, NHL draft are great. They're not, for me, the NFL draft. So there's a lot of good, but not quite. I do love a lot of the NBA and NHL playoffs. I'll put it 3. It just feels like a good tone setter. I think there's a good amount above, good amount below. I'm not sure if Max is trying to mess me over here or not. So I'm gonna play it safe on the first, and I'm gonna go June number 3.
Playing it safe. I think the last time we did a blind ranking, or maybe I was with Dennis last time, he said his rule is that he never puts the first one at 3, and then he put the first one at 3, and he ended up not getting the ranking that he would have wanted. So.
I do not have rules in this. I play by the seat of my pants every single time.
All right. Well, then the next month we'll go to is December. The month of December. During this month, there are such events as conference championships and the CFP in college football. The final weeks of the NFL regular season. I guess not the regular final weeks anymore. Now the last week or two is in January these days. But you've got NFL regular season. You've got bowl games. You've got the NBA Cup finals, as well as the regular season, and the regular season in the NHL, as well as a smattering of other events. Where are you going to put December in your blind ranking? You've got 1, 2, 4, and 5 available.
December, I think, is slept on because it's a really good overlap. You have like everything going on. Granted, most of them are regular season. But you have everything going on. It's not great for golf, which I'm a fan of. It's almost like the best sports like weekends for me have a few great things going on, but then like background the whole time is just at least a golf, like a elevated event. Late in the season for both college football and NFL matters. I'm going to put it 4. That feels tough on December, but I may have messed myself over by putting June 3rd.
That's why you don't put you start with 3.
I didn't know this was a rule thing.
I didn't know about it either, but once he said it, it kind of made sense.
I'm going 4. I'm fine with that.
All right, so you've got June at 3 and December at 4. So you've got 1, 2, and 5 open. It's a blind ranking of months on the sports calendar.
Also, like the Christmas and leading up to New Year's holidays. I know that they're more and more becoming like sports holidays, but they're really not. Like you want to.
Yeah, now they have
time
NFL on Christmas as well, NBA on Christmas.
It's not the exact same there. So it's
NHL
not
will be
like
back on Boxing Day
Thanksgiving,
this
which
year.
is about a sport. July 4th, which is like so baseball and America. Like they're holidays where you want to be able to turn the TV off, but you can't anymore. But you might want to.
Yeah, if you're a big soccer guy too, Premier League has Boxing Day fixtures, I believe, every year. I think that's a big week for them. All right, the next month I'm going to throw at you here, blind ranking months on the sports calendar. We're going to go to March. March Madness, of course. They got the conference tournaments and NCAA tournament in college basketball. You've got the regular season kind of winding down in the NHL and NBA. You've got the beginning of the baseball regular season. You've got the players on the PGA Tour. March, where are you ranking March on the sports calendar blind ranking?
I don't have rules, but I don't love it when I'm in the situation I'm about to put myself in. March is going to be number 2. March is, it is carried by March Madness, but it's really conference tournament selection Sunday, and then just the best parts of March Madness, because the Final Four and everything they're making their way into the next month, darn near halfway through the next month, into April. So there's some free agency stuff going on in the NFL, but it's March Madness. It's the chaos, it's the upsets, it's all the good parts of the NCAA tournament. I love it so much that even with kind of a light smattering of sports elsewhere, it still makes its way into the top 2.
Yeah, March Madness is awesome. I'm jonesing for it. I'm ready to get back into bracketology and everything.
Yeah, Maxitology. Are you mad I didn't put it number 1 since you're our Maxitologist?
No, I would consider putting it number 1, but I can certainly see the argument for leaving it at 2. But I think it would definitely go over the other 2. Although June is a good month as well, and I agree that December slept on as well. So your current ranking months on the sports calendar: you've got March at 2, June at 3, and December at 4. So you've got the 1 and 5 slot open. And the next month I'm going to give you is October. Regular season football in both the NFL and college football. You've got some conference games really getting into the fold in college football. NBA and NHL seasons are underway at this point. And then you've also got playoff baseball and the World Series, as well as a couple of other like fall golf events as well, since we were mentioning them. And all these other months as well. So October, you've got 1 and you've got 5. Where are you going to slot in October?
I don't think I can go 5 with October, so I think I have to go 1, but I'm going to. There's a few out there that I'll be very upset if I get next. I'm going to add in the like real life sports element of it, which is October's often the last time you can like sneak out, play some golf. October is prime like touch football in the backyard territory. Brisk. I love a good tailgate. Like, all of that comes into play. And then you throw in the fact that, I don't know, it's just like it's nostalgia sports for me, right? It's high school sports are still cranking, meaning high school football. Good crossover. You're getting a lot of different sports. So, yeah, I'm rolling with October number 1.
All right, so that puts your ranking at October 1, March 2, June 3, and December 4. And this ranking of sports months on the sports calendar. So, by default, going in at your number 5 slot is going to be the month of April.
Yeah, that hurts.
That's got the Masters, the beginning of the NBA and NHL playoffs, the NFL draft takes place, the Final Four, as well as some other regular season golf events, and just various other kind of collegiate sports kind of start wrapping up, start getting into their postseasons, the spring sports as the academic calendar winds down. So that leaves your final blind ranking of months on the sports calendar as October 1, March 2, June 3, December 4, and April at number 5. If you had all the information in front of you, how would you re-rank these, or would you stick with your original list?
Listen, April is like the cliche because it has, I mean, the Masters is sitting right there for you. But also Final Four, NBA playoffs. But for me, it's hard to put it number 1 with just like no on-field football. I am a football guy. I know they have the draft. People get excited about that. I am a draft nerd. But at the same time, it's not on-field football. So April is too low at 5. I would move it up probably to 3. But I don't hate October being 1. I don't hate March being 2. April 3, June, and then December bringing it up. December's always slept on, but maybe it's rightfully so now. Okay, now let's do it your way, Max. I had to do it blind. You get the gift of sight. How are you ranking these?
Yeah, I'm probably putting March at 1 just by virtue of March Madness being,
I had a feeling
plus the conference tournaments as well. Just it's the best couple of weeks of like sports viewing. It's consistent. It's
just a little monotonous. It's all college
basketball.
A little
bit. Well, I love college basketball.
So do I.
It's
but
also
I love a lot of sports.
All day long, whereas sometimes with these other months and these other sports, like you're not going to get that on a Thursday at noon like you would in the first round of the NCAA tournament or during
that's why you need golf. You
the
need
early
golf
rounds of the conference tournaments.
You need golf,
but that's going on in March as well.
I know. No, I'm
with the players and a couple other events. Arnold Palmer, typically I believe, is during March as well. So I'd probably go March 1. I'll probably put October 2 and April 3. And then I would just go the same as you would. Again, just with it all in front of you.
Okay,
so mine would go March, October, April, June, December.
So I got the top 2 right and the bottom 3 right. Just need to reorder them a little bit. And I for me, I would even have to reorder them a little bit less. I did okay. I'm not hating that at all. I don't hate my list.
You did well. Look, you had to defend against like if I was going to throw out July or August. Yeah. You never knew, or I guess January. Although January has its perks as well. I think every month except the one that I think we're in right now and August all have redeeming qualities in terms of what they have on the sporting calendar. We're just in the dog days right now.
July is just, you need to push through. But also, the dead season's getting less and less.
Look, a lot of this calculus changes if Raleigh gets a Major League Baseball team, because then, like, it's particularly in our position, we'd be able to get some more like frequent coverage. I mean, the Red Sox have won 15 games in a row, so I'm happy about that. But
or how about this? College football plays the whole darn thing in the first semester, which means it's got to start about beginning of July. How about that?
Is that even considered the first semester? Are they even in? They're not even in class until
my point is
mid-August.
They have to be done by the end of the first semester, so the transfer portal can have everybody. They don't have to make a decision before their season's done for the next.
That's
semester.
true. But you got to get the kids on campus, though.
They're all on campus.
Well, the student sections, though.
Ah.
That's like half of what makes college football still.
Well,
fun.
there's going to be more games when this is right. You can just because you're doing like the week 0, you're doing the Chick-fil-A kickoff, you're doing all that stuff, and then you have all your home games once the teams get there. Neutral fields are all the first games of the year. That's my solution.
the proposals where it's like play all the like tax slayer bowls and stuff like in August before the season.
Not a bad move. I'm just saying that if we could cover some of July with college football, the dead zone shrinks even more. Mix in a World Cup or an Olympics every now and then, and like the dead zone is gone. College football 100% of the time. Not college football, but sports 100% of the time. Think about it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For the last time, not the last time ever, but with training camp starting, with football kind of taking over, and with not a ton of news coming out of the Carolina Hurricanes world, we are going to hit right now HurriCons and Cons before a hiatus.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
So we do HurriCons and Cons every single week during the NHL season. And then we do it kind of through the draft, through free agency, because there's moves to be made. And there still are some, right? There still are some. But I don't want to just keep putting the same exact roster into the same game every single week. So we're going to go on like summer break. We're going to go on hiatus until something happens. So this will be the last HurriCons and Cons for a while, not forever, just for a while. So going into the break, until they're back, maybe training camp, getting ready to play, what are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about for the Carolina Hurricanes? As always, when somebody says I've got good news and bad news, you say give me the bad news first. So we'll start with the concerns. Max, what are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes?
Just don't know what the plan is for the decor with the ever extending Alexander Nikishin contract situation. Like, are they going to trade him? Are they going to trade for a defenseman? Are they going to slot Joel Nystrom into his slot and just roll with that? Basically, run it back with a slight change on the third pair. Would just like some clarity on what they're going to do with that, and the fact that it's taking longer and longer to play out. I don't know if it's necessarily concerning for them, like, because we don't know what kind of conversations are going on inside the building, inside the front office. But, the longer these things play out, who knows what kind of unrest or dissent could be building as, like, maybe it's like, why have they not met my contract demands? Or if the Hurricanes like, well, maybe there's not a return out there for this guy. And then, I guess the worst case scenario is you could get into the season, and if he's unsigned, then you can basically just have a guy that you didn't get assets for in a trade, and he's not playing for you on the ice, and it just kind of feels like a wasted asset or wasted potential for the team if they can't find some kind of resolution with that. So that's a little bit concerning for me, that the way it's panning out right now, that we don't have some clarity on what exactly that decor is going to look like coming into the season. We know what the forwards are going to look like. We know pretty much what the goaltenders are going to be coming into this season, but just not sure how they're going to shake out, especially on that third pair when it comes to the decor.
That comes up in another one of my points, and so I'll refrain from building off of that too much at the moment. My concern is goalie depth, right? You need 3 minimum, probably 4. Obviously, as they proved with Bussy, you can find them kind of anywhere if you know what you're looking for, right? Just a waiver claim can become a record breaker and a shutout in the Stanley Cup clincher. But without Freddie was always just, even if he's your third, it was just like a known thing. So just depth beyond Pyotr Kochetkov, who, by the way, at the minimum would be coming off an injury that made him miss quite a bit of time, and Bussey. Even if you're super confident in him, you still need depth behind him. So my concern would be goalie depth. And I'm starting off the season just where I finished it last year with goalie.
Yeah, and as confident as we are in Brandon Bussey for his great performances, like, still only really got to play like 3 games in the playoffs, and it's really like 1 year into his NHL career. So we hope he can build off that and be that great goaltender that we saw get the shutout in Game 6 to win the Stanley Cup, but there's no guarantee of that.
And no one wants to say it out loud, but there's a lot of history of guys that have like weird runs as a goalie and then come back down to earth. But there's also some that went on weird runs and then just sustained it. So it's you just don't know. By the way, congratulations to the Bussies. Just got married, Brandon Bussey. What's your confidence going into the hiatus? We're not going to talk about them for a while, so if you're going to hype up, brag about one particular group or one particular thing, movement, whatever you want to call it, what are you most confident in?
The team just won the Stanley Cup, and they're basically icing the exact same team that had 113 points in the regular season and only lost 3 games in the entire Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, obviously other teams are trying to load up and get better to try to compete, and with some bugaboos like the Panthers, they could be back if they have a healthy season and have made some additions
like the Panthers.
But again, like, how much do you really need to change? Like, there's always the argument, I guess, if you're not getting better, that you're getting worse. But even if they got a little bit worse by keeping the same guys, well, a little bit worse than 113 points, still going to make the playoffs. It still might very well win the Metropolitan Division, and they're not going to get out in the first round of the playoffs. They simply do not do that. So I'm confident that they're bringing back a lot of this same roster. Now, I don't know if we'll be saying the same thing after next season. There are 5 guys that are up in terms of unrestricted free agency. Jordan Stahl, we don't know if maybe this could be his last rodeo and then he'll hang it up. But I'm confident in the fact that they're just running it back. They've got a great locker room culture. Everybody seems to really enjoy playing with each other, playing for Rod Brindamore. And I assume that they're going to carry over a lot of that success back into next season.
I am wearing my Stanley Cup champ shirt, by the way, for those of you watching on YouTube.
It's on clearance, by the way. I just ordered it off.
Yeah,
Fanatics.
don't say that for somebody that paid the price right after the win. But I got to wear it right after the win. Being on clearance, you didn't get to do that. I was wearing it at the parade. Everybody didn't get to do that.
Same for those who don't have one yet. And maybe you get one for a kid or a significant other in your life.
Definite possibility. I'll check it out. My confidence is the forwards. With this being the explanation of the 3 groups, right? Forwards, defensemen, goalies. They all have like a what happens if or what happens kind of like question. 2 of them are, I would say, not super fun. One of them very fun. For the defenseman, like, what happens with Nikishin is a thing. Like, I don't know. It's your concern, right? Like, what's going on there? That's not super fun to think about, right? Like, what if contract demands aren't being met? Whatever. Goalie, that was my concern, right? Like, what happens without Freddie with the goalie depth? That's a thing. It's real. The forwards, like, what happens during the time it takes Seth Jarvis to get healthy is kind of exciting, right? Do you find out you have more NHL caliber players at the AHL level? Do you find out Bradley Nadeau is the real deal? Do you find out whoever is getting those minutes is capable of more? And if you find out none of that is true, Seth Jarvis returns. Like, and it's like the sadness gets washed away by the return of a 30-something goal scorer who's finally healthy. So the forwards are what I'm most excited about. And yeah, kind of similar to what Max was saying, like, they're returning all of them. It's just all of them. That's awesome.
Yeah, same forward core other than Eric Robinson and Jarvis are going to be out with injuries for a little bit, but eventually they'll be back. And
exactly.
Then you're basically more than likely looking at the exact same forward core that just won the Stanley Cup and at 113 points in the regular season won the Eastern Conference.
And obviously you don't want injuries to happen to anybody, right? So, qualifier out there, Captain Obvious. But also, like, with that core returning everybody, it's kind of like you never get to see the prospects, right? We like track them all off season, and you just this kind of gets the best of both worlds. You're returning everybody, but you also get like 2 months where you get to see. It's just a fun little thing there. So that's why they're my confidence. the forwards. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next here on The Drive, Taylor Moton is on the NFI, the non-football illness list, with blood clots. How does that impact the Carolina Panthers offense? Stick around.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Join me and my co-host Chris Lee from WREL TV as our podcast Panthers Playbook rolls on this offseason, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Carolina Panthers news as we break down the NFL draft, insights on free agents and prospects, plus all the inside information on the offseason. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Listen, if closing costs are stopping you from buying or refinancing your home, how about you just don't let that be an issue? Call Miller Lending. Closing costs are not a thing when you get a no closing cost loan, a no cost loan. It says it right there in the title. That's why they named it, so we wouldn't be confused. So if you've wanted a bigger house, smaller house, relocate, if you want to get your dream home, but you're just a little annoyed by those closing costs, call Miller Lending, ask about a no-cost loan, bring all your questions. They'd love to answer them. And, oh, by the way, when you call, you're calling someone locally owned right here in the Triangle. Here's the number, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. It's that easy to remember, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog, too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Some not great news for Carolina Panthers fans at the start of training camp, which I guess technically started yesterday, but kind of spiritually starts tomorrow. Rookies reported yesterday. Veterans report today. Practice starts tomorrow for the Carolina Panthers. Taylor Moton, who, to give Taylor Moton credit, has been like the definition of just a steadying presence on that offensive line. The Carolina Panthers have been through some stuff with their offensive line over the last 7-8 years. And Taylor Moton has just been planted out there at right tackle like, nah, I'm good. You deal with the rest. And he's just been making it happen. So give him a lot of credit. But that doesn't mean it's any less of a bummer that he is beginning training camp on the non-football illness list with blood clots that were discovered, diagnosed, found towards the end of June, and immediately started the treatment, the blood thinners, the things you need to do to alleviate that and make it so he can play again. But he is going to start training camp and likely miss games, meaning regular season games, on the non-football illness list. That's a bummer, okay? And when you look at how this Carolina Panthers team is built, I believe they wanted to, and this is kind of like chicken or the egg, but they wanted to start with the run. They want to start with the run, right? Dave Canales has always said, right, the running game, the running game, the running game. The chicken or the egg element is, I believe they're more of an offensive line run game than a running back run game, if that makes any sense, right? They did not invest heavily in the running back room, largely because I think they're looking at it going like, well, we got 2 road graders at offensive guard. We've got so much invested in the tackles. Taylor Moton, who's already a stud, one of our most exciting free agency acquisitions was Rasheed Walker. He's a left tackle. Then we used our first-round pick on a left tackle, and we have Ike Ekwonu, who's a road grader, coming back whenever he gets healthy. Like, you put all of this together, you know, a replacement level running back, and not saying Chuba is or Jonathan Brooks is, but running backs that are simply NFL running backs should be able to gain a bunch of yards. Now you take Taylor Moton out, Ike Ekwonu's still getting healthy, and you mix in an injury or two. Suddenly that's not the case anymore. Now you need your running back to make a guy miss in the backfield. Suddenly what you became dependent on being 2nd and 6 is now 2nd and 8 or worse. So it is imperative now that the offensive line stays healthy, those that are healthy. And it is imperative now that Ike Ekwonu and Taylor Moton, which is tough with blood clots, but like, you know, rehabs and everything, do as much as they can to get back safely. The point has been made that they are now starting this year without both of their starting tackles from last year. And they're both still on the roster, right? It's not like they chose to move on from either of them, right? If Ike Ekwonu and Taylor Moton were healthy, they'd likely be the day one starters at left and right tackle. And now neither of them appear to be the starting left and right tackle on day one. Now the good news is it appears they've been prepared, right? If Bryce Young did not have Monroe Freeling drafted in the first round or Rasheed Walker signed in free agency, the guy might be seeing ghosts, right? He might be having nightmares. He might be waking up in the middle of the night like, ow, sorry, I was getting blindsided again. But luckily and or like just like fortunately, the Panthers did bring in Rasheed Walker and Monroe Freeling, so they almost get to be right where they started, which is not like you don't use your first round pick to be like right where you started, right? You don't make a great free agency signing to be right where you started. You make a first round pick to hopefully level up, especially for a team that while they made the playoffs, they were 8-9, right? There's room, there's upward mobility there. Right, you don't go do all of your calculations and all of your negotiations and have all your algorithms kick out how great of a free agency signing that Rasheed Walker is, to then go, yeah, okay, we'll take actually a less veteran and put him at tackle than the veteran who's going to be out with an injury. That's crazy, but that's what they've done, and thank goodness they did it that way. Because if they didn't, they'd be, you know, up blank creek without a paddle. There's no longer a competition. Now it is, right, it's funny how this happens in a team sport, right? In a team sport, there are a lot of these little mini battles, right? Position battles, where, the team probably has an idea of who they want, right? Or maybe even different players, right? Hey, I'm in the rookie class with Monroe Freeling. I want to see him win that job, right? A veteran who maybe spent some time playing against Rasheed Walker and is going like, hey, man, that dude's great. I hope he gets the job. Then you have these injuries, and now it's no longer Monroe versus Rasheed. It's all hands on deck. Let's get these two guys ready for game one. It's all hands on. No more iron sharpens iron. Now it's let's all get together and sharpen it as a team, right? There's no more of that. This is why offensive line picks are never a bad idea. It is the pizza of draft picks. You ever been with a group of people deciding where you're going to go eat? You debate them all, right? Somebody's feeling Thai because they like spicy food. Somebody's, don't like what that does to me. Some people want, they want to go do family style. There's this new place across town. Oh, I wasn't trying to go across town. And then somebody goes, you want to order pizza? And it's nobody's like favorite choice, but everybody's kind of like, you know what? Yeah, pizza. If it stops this conversation, right? Let's just order some pizzas. For the person that wanted spicy food, we'll throw some hot wings on there, right? You just make little concessions. That's offensive line. You want a wide receiver? I don't know if we're ready for it. You want an edge rusher? We're picking too late for it. Offensive line? Yeah, you know what? Everybody will take an offensive lineman. It's that way because it's versatile. It fixes your problems before they happen. And if it pays out well, you're not losing any ceiling, right? Offensive line is not, off-ball linebacker or safety or some of these non-premium positions where you're like, if we have injuries there, we could really need it. But then if it works and you pick an all-pro, a couple years from now, you're like, are we about to pay a safety that much money? Like if Monroe Freeling works out, you're not going to be any kind of mad that you're paying him top left tackle money. You'd love to have to pay top left tackle money. Meanwhile, in the meantime, he just turned what could have been catastrophic into, all right, we prepared for this. Everybody go to your manuals, right? Let's figure it out. Because the other thing I want to say about Monroe Freeling, and I've been saying maybe overplaying it if I'm being real, since they drafted him, the thing that made me most excited about him was that he was a high school basketball player. And again, you might think I'm overplaying it. Maybe I am. But until you see the clips, this isn't like, oh, he's a high school basketball player. Like he went to a small town and, a small high school, and everybody that every boy between the ages of 16 and 18 was on this high school basketball team. Like, no. He's pinning shots against the glass. He's dunking. He's out there running in transition. He's playing defense. Defensive sliding, left and right, right? Basketball, you're not like, oh, I'm a left wing defender, so if you could only rush around this side, I think that would be better, which is what some tackles end up doing, right? He's got to slide left and right. So moving him over to right, I think it's going to be okay. Continue to use that athleticism, get out in space, let the guys do what they do. As far as other injuries that were revealed, Bobby Brown, big defensive lineman, hamstring happened working out. I hate hamstrings. I've dealt with hamstrings. You've heard me say it once. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. Hamstrings go quiet. They don't go away. The moment you think like, oh, I'm past it, that's going to just grab on you when you're doing a warm-up. We're sitting there doing high knees. How's that feel? It's the worst feeling in the world. I pulled a hamstring, and it was between my junior and senior year of high school. Mostly avoided it for like 3-4 years, right? Stretching every day, going into the trainers. We're running 40-yard dashes, combine prep. This is now after my junior year of college. So 4 years running 40-yard dash times. Boom. I'm not even going to brag about the number because it's not brag worthy, but I ran one, and it was the fastest I had run in college. Should have been smart enough to go, I did well today. I am going to go to the locker room. But instead I went, oh, I'm the fastest man alive now. Let's run this back. Let's run another. Soon as I got a little bit of arrogance. Grabbed it. Stunk. Ruined that whole summer. What's the Odyssey? Pride did me in. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Neither have I. I was sick.
I'm holding out for the 70 millimeter IMAX. I'm just kidding. There's only like 25 of those.
Is there? What's the biggest screen around here? I don't even know.
I don't know, but none of the big like the whatever the right ones are. We don't have any in North Carolina apparently. So
well, 70 would be like those. I think they're all in like LA, right? LA or
no,
like
they're spread around the
Times
country,
Square?
but there's none of them are here.
What? We just need to know the biggest screen we can watch it on.
The biggest screen? That's a good question. I think there's an IMAX theater at like the Marbles Kids Museum.
Really? And are they showing the Odyssey? Is that what
I think so, yeah.
the kids are into?
I think a friend, I couldn't go, but a friend was asking about going the other day. I was like, that's an interesting spot.
In a bit of like dumb history for me, I went to 3 different schools in between 6th grade and junior year of high school. For all 3, I did a fairly big report on the Odyssey, and they were all very similar. 6th grade, you just got to add a couple more words. Boom, you got an 8th grade project. In this junior year, you just got to do a couple more visuals, put it in a slide, a PowerPoint. Boom, you got a high school English paper.
I think we did the Iliad when I was in high school.
The first one I did was actually Ulysses, which is the Odyssey just in its like translated to Latin then English, and then the Odyssey twice. But I know that pretty darn well from doing a whole bunch of reports because teachers didn't know I'd already done it. That's the move. So I will be watching the movie at some point. Probably not anytime soon. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, it's 5 o'clock hour. That means it's time for the starting 5. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't buy this line that Carolina only won the Cup because Florida was too broken to challenge for a 3rd straight title. The Hurricanes were the best team in the league. They were way better than they were the previous year. And I know we can't prove it, but I think Carolina would have beaten Florida if the Panthers were standing in their way. Don't worry what Florida did. Make yourself better.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Raleigh, the appetite for destruction returns. Guns N' Roses. World Tour 2026. One night. Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh. July 23rd. With special guest, Public Enemy. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Presented by Live Nation.
When you own your own business, you own every decision. Catch the red eye or take the 6 a.m.
Make a new hire or promote internally.
Celebrate a win with a toast at the gate or unwind at the lounge. Big props to this team. Some decisions are a win-win, like earning 8 times points on Chase Travel. Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business, the business card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member of FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Ever catch yourself hiding your smile in photos? If you're dealing with stained, uneven, crowded, or missing teeth, you're not alone, and you don't have to live with it. At Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, Dr. James Ferguson and his team help patients transform their smiles every day using treatments like veneers, dental implants, and so much more. Whether you want a small refresh or a complete smile makeover, your plan is designed just for you. Come see what's possible. Visit chapelhilldds.com to request a consultation today.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Most of the rain in the afternoon stays north of our area, but it starts to move in during the evening commute and becomes more widespread overnight tonight. We could have some heavy rain and some gusty winds. Temperatures today climb up to around 90 and then will drop down into the low 70s overnight tonight.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 6 points today to 52,218.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting five is brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. The Baker family has roofed the Carolinas since 1915. Baker Home Exteriors, roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Always good work. BakerHomeExteriors.com. As always, our starting five, which comes right here at 5 o'clock every day, starts with number 5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
We have some audio for you from training camp of the Carolina Panthers. Let's run through everything you haven't heard from or haven't heard today already. Quite a bit from Derek Brown you haven't heard yet. Derek Brown, the big man in the middle, who, by the way, I'm not sure if you care about this, but according to my social media feed, he's going to be the highest rated defensive tackle in the Madden for this year. So top 5 defensive tackle according to executives and scouts and coaches polled by ESPN. He's a top, 80 player according to his peers on the NFL Top 100. But the game, I believe, says he is one of, if not the top defensive tackle in the game. So, Derek Brown was asked about consistency from day one. Big guy, grinder in the middle. You'd think he'd have something to say. This is what it was.
I always feel like it's one of those things where, we all come in here with the same goal. All 32 teams come in with the expectation to win a division and, win your single division and then go to the Super Bowl, right? So, I think it's one of those things where, you got it. What you do in camp is the separating factor, right? If you're one of those guys where, I feel like for us, I think honestly it's the consistency level, right? We need to be consistent in the things that we did well last year, but then also be able to improve on the things that we didn't do well last year. But it's always it's a whitewash. It's we getting ready to start all over again and get back to square one.
How about that? Carolina Panthers fans, did you ever think it would come a day where you got to tear everything down to get to square one again? There's a lot of seasons where it was hey, if we got to climb up a little bit to get to square one by training camp. I've said it before, one of the more interesting storylines of the Carolina Panthers season is what do they do with not a lot of buzz, but just a little bit of buzz. Right? The chip on their shoulder has been welded there for the last 5 or 6 years. There's a little bit of love coming their way. Maybe not as a team, but some individual little bit of love. How do they deal with that? Let's go back to more from Derek Brown. What's the ceiling for the defense this season? A lot of people are wondering with all those free agency acquisitions. This is what Derek Brown said.
I think the ceiling's high for us. I don't want to call out a number or none of that, but I think the ceiling's high. Finding the 11, 15 guys that contribute or probably at this point, it's 22 guys rolling in on a Sunday on just defense. I think it's one of those things of, buying into what Ian, the coach staff, is preaching during the offseason from OTAs, and which we've already done, and then going through camp and just relearning that stuff. But, just trying to go out and have flawless efforts. It's, like I said, it's the consistency game, right? Every single week, whoever shows up and is the most consistent throughout the game is the team that's going to win.
Yeah. I'll put a number on it. It better be a top 10 defense. However you think you should measure, right? With points, that's what I always go by. Yards, EPA per play. I don't care. Whatever the measure is that is the best at measuring defense, it should be a top 10 defense. Because it's being treated as it, meaning they've the number one free agent, highest priced free agent on the market, the all-pro linebacker. More day 2 draft picks. They keep feeding day 2 draft picks to that defense. They better be good. They better be good. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch, but you put J.C. Horn, who's hopefully healthy from the stitches on his foot. You put Derek Brown. You put Jalen Phillips. You put Devin Lloyd. You put Mike Jackson. You put a herd of second and third round picks on a defense. You at a certain point, you got to look around and go, if you're getting prime ingredients, you should get a pretty prime meal. One more from Derek Brown here on what the addition of Jalen Phillips can do for the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen's a great edge. So I'm excited to be able to just get the chance to play with him. I mean, of course we have those, where you got to learn each other, right? Not just Jalen. I think it goes from, me and him, and then Nick, and then, I'm learning three, 4 guys across the board trying to figure this thing out. We don't know Turk's situation yet, so. That's one of those things where, I'm playing with new guys beside me, and, it's my job to be able to not only do my job at a high level, but be able to figure out, what's going on around me, other guys' tendencies, and, figure out when I can, do what I do.
There are certain positions, and defensive tackle is certainly one of them. Unless you're Aaron Donald or Chris Jones and you're turning defensive tackle into, 10-plus sacks. Derek Brown's entire job is just make everyone else's job easier. Jalen Phillips, great. What does he do for the rest of the defense? I think he's the benefactor. He's not the one, doing the dirty work so other people look good. He's the one that looks good because Derek Brown is doing the dirty work. That's why Derek Brown is so good at and so valuable to the Panthers. All right, there's a little audio for you in starting off the starting 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Jason Robertson, who, by the way, I've raised my hand. I used to be all about getting Jason Robertson to the Carolina Hurricanes. I have since bailed on that, and thankfully I am not Eric Tulsky because what he did was perfect, right? And there are now the reports coming out that perhaps the Canes and the Mikko Rantanen trade to Dallas could have brought back Jason Robertson, and I would have gone, yes. And what they did instead with the picks that turned into players and obviously Logan Stankoven worked out perfectly. I have no problem saying I was wrong there. But he's going to hit the open market next year. And
maybe.
True. I guess they're eligible, January 1st to extend?
So he signs for 1 year for $12 million, which
avoids arbitration.
Yes, avoids arbitration as they were set to go there, later on this month or early in August. But so he signed for 1 year at $12 million. That's the same yearly figure that they were reportedly offering him long term, because that's the contract they gave to Mikko Rantanen when the Hurricanes traded him there. So now he gets 1 year, gets to stay in Dallas, which, again, reportedly is like what he wants, but he still wanted to get his fair market value.
Oh, he turned down some deals from some other teams.
Seattle offered reportedly $15 million long term. St. Louis was interested. He said no to going there. So now, when Dallas kind of gets out of their cap crunch next year, they'll have like $40 million in cap space for next season. So if they decide to come together, and a lot of things can change over the course of a season. There could be injuries, or he could go off, even more than he has. He's over a point per game player, by the way, but he could score not
100 points this year.
Yeah, 115, 120 points or something like that, and the value can keep going up. But I figure this ends with him probably getting that contract that he wanted in Dallas in the first place. But that's the risk you take with this 1 year deal, because if he does go off, or if something happens, or if the relationship sours, you've walked him straight to unrestricted free agency, basically in the prime of his career after this coming season. So kind of risk-reward, but at the same time, it's kind of, I think, the best resolution for both teams, especially since they don't have to go to arbitration and sour their relationship anymore.
There's obviously, you have to look. The NHL is rising in salary cap so aggressively. Their media deals are rising so aggressively that it's you really can't do the NHL comparison now to the NHL previous generation star, because it's just so different. You have to look cross-sport. We're going to find out at some point, and I hope it does not happen with Jason Robertson, but we're going to find out how viable these short-term deals are when someone on a short-term deal gets a serious injury, right? Because in the NBA, we've learned Like, players in their prime will take these 1 or 2 year deals because they know even if they get hurt, they're still going to get paid max money, right? They're still, so the risk isn't there. We've seen guys sign huge, gigantic deals, and then their first year with their new team, they don't even play because they're coming off an injury. That gives NBA stars so much leverage to be like, I'll sign the short-term deal. Who cares? If I get hurt, I'm still getting paid. If they get hurt and then that money goes away, you're going to see everybody rush back to stability. We don't know where the NHL is right now. Obviously, we would if it's like, McDavid or whoever. That's a different beast. But, no disrespect to Robertson. I think he's great. He's not McDavid. So it's a different thing. But until somebody makes like the Kirk Cousins, I'm going to bet on myself move and gets hurt and then doesn't see the consequences of it, it's still going to be a bit nerve-wracking. I'd be nerve-wracking. If I were him, granted, I could probably live the rest of my life off of what he's going to make this year. I would still be a little nervous. And everybody monitoring the situation. I mean, it doesn't take that long for you to put together like 2 guys on Anaheim are going to be making more than like entire groups of 6 forwards on other teams that are pretty darn good. Like this, I don't know. It feels like a bubble that might burst at some point in time, but for right now, players are just gathering cash as quickly as they can. That is number 4. Let's get to number 3.
It means more.
Oh, the SEC. They had their media day, by the way, and they just can't help themselves. Matter of fact, let's make sure, there we go. I want to make sure we change the graphic behind me because I don't even want to be saying these things with the Canes over my shoulder. The SEC is once again threatening, or maybe not like outwardly threatening, but posturing as if they are going to break away from everybody else. Greg Sankey, their commissioner, mentioned it. Kirby Smart, the head coach at Georgia, was like, I am in. I will leave tomorrow. Few things. Should I get in a cheap shot first, or should I have a real conversation first?
Yeah, you can get in the cheap shot and then
Okay.
get into the real stuff.
The Pac-12 has played in the national championship game more recently than the SEC. Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. It'd be Washington back in the 2023-2024 season. SEC hasn't been in the national championship game since then. You know what else we've started doing? We've made you actually earn your way into the national championship game. You've had to win games rather than just being appointed. Since we've done that, what's happened to the SEC? Okay. Secondly, and we're going to talk more about this at the end of the show. So if you want a super, much more detailed, nuanced take, just wait about a half hour. The next point I'm going to make is very simple. Threatening, posturing is very different from doing. Everything is a leverage play. Okay? I don't believe the SEC wants to leave. I believe the SEC wants to stay as connected to everyone else as they can, but not be treated like everyone else. And the way they're going to try to force that is by threatening and or posturing to leave and then settling for we'll stay if and giving their list of demands. So I hope everybody else sees their worth as well. Even if it's Big Ten and SEC. I don't think it works with just the Big Ten and the SEC, and I'll explain why at the end of the show. But don't sell yourself short, everybody else. Don't think you have to kowtow to the big bad bullies, because I don't think it works without y'all. I don't think it works without y'all, just like I don't think it works without them, and you both know it. So don't misrepresent your leverage. What number is that? 3? Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. For the first time on the road, the Carolina Hurricanes are delivering a Stanley Cup winning storm surge.
Okay. By the way, I didn't say this earlier. It's in my notes and it's circled underlined, as something that I needed to make sure I say. So I'm going to start with this. The Blue Jackets, the Blues, the Wild, and our Carolina Hurricanes are turning to the NHL's newly created centralized production arm for their local telecasts beginning with the upcoming season. Obviously, They will not be on the FanDuel Sports Network or Bally's or whatever it was before that. The part that I didn't mention earlier that I need to, Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy will still be on the call. It does not change the broadcasters. You're not going to get some national group that is splitting their time between the Hurricanes and the Wild or anything like that. Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy, who I think are as good and as connected to a fan base as any broadcast crew, they're sticking around. And I meant to, just because anytime change happens, you worry about what happens to the people you care about. So I want to make sure everybody was aware that Mike and Trip will be back. So there you go. The way this works, and this is how it was explained in an article I read today from ESPN. Under the NHL's centralized production model, teams will pay the league to cover the baseline cost of producing their local telecasts while retaining all revenue from distribution and advertising inventory they control. The NHL will bear the cost of building out the shared production infrastructure, including personnel, technology, and innovation that can be deployed across markets. So essentially, the teams that choose to use this, which for now are the Blue Jackets, Blues, Hurricanes, and Wild, will throw money at the NHL basically as a buy in bulk, right? All right, then you guys put together, Max, do you want to go ahead and give your rant real quickly here on what you hope changes?
Yeah, the score bug.
There you go.
That awful Bally bar, FanDuel bar, whatever you want to call it, that they never changed once in the entire time that they have existed. Please make an improved score bug, please.
So
I also hope the music is good.
So instead of each team having to pay a graphic designer and having to go design their own score bug, they throw money at the NHL, and the NHL, and that's just one example, but puts together the whole broadcast structure. Thus, everyone else, all the teams can use it, and then they can sell their advertisements and local advertisements and everything to make money off of it. From what I understand, it's going to be available in a lot of different places. There will be pay to watch. There will be some television. There will be some I don't even want to say for certain where it will be. But I hope it's much easier to track down. Because, there are questions that I get often about the Canes. Last year, there was a lot of hey, what's up with Freddie? There was a lot of when's Slavin coming back? There was a lot of, is this the year? But then there's also what's that thing? Where can I watch the games? Because it's confusing. So I'm hoping it's more readily available. But it will not. You can go to your whatever you have your apps downloaded to and just delete that old FanDuel app. You don't need it anymore. Get rid of it. It'll feel good. It's cathartic. Remember the blackouts we used to get? This year wasn't as bad.
Their apps sucked too.
The previous year, I remember just key points in a game. It would just be sorry, not going to watch this one. This year wasn't as bad. That's number 2. Actually, Max, as a Canes fan, anything stand out to you about the decision to go NHL solo production broadcast?
No, I like it. I mentioned earlier, I like that the NHL is going to try to bring more kind of league-wide elements to the pre- and post-game shows and stuff to kind of make sure that everything's all incorporated into the kind of greater hockey ecosystem. And that's good. That'll be more informed for the fans and just kind of making things all sort of homogenized within the league so you can kind of keep up with what's going outside the Canes. Not that, again, a local coverage should be, focusing obviously on the home team, but just to bring in the elements around the league and help kind of raise the general hockey consciousness, I think is good.
That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. I said this earlier. I missed Monday and Tuesday, out sick, family sick, whole thing, bug ran through the house, gross, don't want to talk about it. But if there was any silver lining to the timing of the first sick days I've taken in my entire professional career, the Ironman streak is over. If there was any at least it was mid-July. Right? At least it was in the dead zone. At least I wasn't going to come back and see a completely altered sports landscape because it was in the crazy time of year. But then I came back and the Carolina Panthers are already replacing offensive linemen. Taylor Moton, who has been the steady Eddie, the one you can depend on over there at right tackle, is dealing with blood clots that were diagnosed late last month. And he is now starting training camp, which practice begins tomorrow, on the non-football illness list, and he is expected to miss regular season games. Now, I am optimistic, trying to force myself to be optimistic about the way this Carolina Panthers season is going to go. Okay? There are, I think, a few signs that say maybe the hype has gotten a little ahead. Maybe the cart is being put in front of the horse. But I'm trying to be optimistic. They were in the playoffs last year. And sometimes just by the nature of making the playoffs, whether you were 8-9 or 11 wins or 12 wins or whatever, just like the experience like forces you to level up. So I'm trying to be optimistic. You cannot be a better team if your offensive line is worse. You cannot be a better team if your offensive line is worse. Not the way this team is built, not the way Bryce needs it, not the way the running backs need it. Their running back room is worse. Although if Jonathan Brooks is the Jonathan Brooks that was promised 2 years ago, maybe it's a step up. Rico Dowdle was pretty darn good last year. Bryce Young needs time. Bryce Young can't be seeing or feeling the rush. Bryce Young needs effective play action. Now, hopefully one day down the road, if he does become the long-term starter of the Panthers, he won't need such a well-incubated nest to have success. But for right now, he does. And you went from super steady veteran on the right, Taylor Moton, who, by the way, expected to come back this year. We just don't know when. Those types of things are tricky. You went from super steady Eddie veteran on the right and either a very veteran player, Rasheed Walker, on the left, we're talking tackles here, or a young guy that beats out a proven veteran on the left, we're talking tackles, to instead you have a pretty solid veteran in Rasheed Walker on the left, and you have a rookie who's made like 17 or 18 starts in college starting at the right tackle position. That's Monroe Freeling. And I do think, more so than most teams, the early part of this season matters a ton for Carolina. The early part of this season matters a boatload for Carolina. And for nothing else, this reason. So Warren Sharp, for those of you that don't know him, Sharp Football Analysis, he's one of the OGs of sports analytics. He put together a list, and the list is offensive snaps with a lead. So how many snaps took place where you were leading on the scoreboard? And it's kind of hilarious. Of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 teams in snaps with a lead, 13 made the playoffs. Okay? The top 14 all made the playoffs except for the Colts. And the Colts collapsed incredibly in the second half. I would assume overwhelming lion's share of their snaps with the lead were in that first half where they started on fire. So of the top 14 teams, 13 made the playoffs. The Panthers also made the playoffs. They were fifth worst. They were 27th in the league in snaps with a lead. So 13 of the top 14 and 27th made the playoffs. The early part of this year, I think, is going to really set in whether last year was a bit of a fluke or if it was a team that found a way to win because they're so gritty and know how to win. The numbers are quite astounding. 393 plays with a lead is the fewest amongst all other playoff teams last year. 393. The most, by the way, were the New England Patriots, 578. So every NFL team that made the playoffs, other than the Panthers, led for between 393 snaps and 578 snaps. The Panthers led for 178. Now, at least you're not the Jets. They only led for 66 snaps, but they didn't make the playoffs. So my point is, the early part of the season is going to set in motion whether the wins were real or some of the underlying analytics that say you shouldn't have won that many were real. And now the early part of the season is not going to have Taylor Moton, not going to have Ike Ekwonu. You're going to be depending a lot on new offensive line. And offensive line is one of the things you didn't need to change. Offensive line, I actually think, especially when both Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis are healthy, can be a strength of your team. Now, at best, it's an unknown for the beginning. If Ike Ekwonu comes back at some point healthy, which they're still hoping for, if Taylor Moton comes back at some point healthy, which they are expecting, great. But where's your team sitting when that happens becomes the question. That's the starting five, brought to you by Baker Home Exteriors. We do good work at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. That's the Baker name. Baker Home Exteriors. BakerHomeExteriors.com. We need numbers game contestants. Let's see if I'm back at this. I didn't do this at ACC Kickoff. Didn't do it the last two. I'm like more than a week without doing the numbers game. I hope I don't mess it up for anybody. If you want to go see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro on July 31st, you better call in now and win the numbers game. We have a pair of tickets going to the winner. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now for your chance to compete in the numbers game, potentially win yourself a pair of tickets to see Skillet at Piedmont Hall in Greensboro later this month. One more time, the phone number, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you could still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. That's right, with Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000. They paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. No hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. Or visit LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
A lot has changed since 1915. The way the Baker family treats people hasn't. They've roofed the Carolinas for over 100 years. The motto puts it plainly: we shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. Trust the team that's kept that promise for generations. Baker Home Exteriors. Always good work. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh's Village District. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. But we need another contestant. I was only joking, everybody, when I said I might mess it up for somebody. I'm pretty good at this. I can take a week off and come back and be a good numbers game host. So call in now, 919-860-5326. And you can get thrown right into the action. The glory that comes with winning the numbers game can be yours. And the tickets to see Skillet.
It's my fault. There's always drops whenever I run the board.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of strange.
I promise I didn't drop anybody. But
is that Amon?
Amen.
All right, Amen. I didn't know if it was like a Amon-Ra St. Brown situation. Amen in Philly will be the contestant that you are facing. But we need somebody to call in, 919-860-5326. Give you another minute or two here before we just jump in with Eamon and go from there. 919-860-5326. The glory that comes with winning the numbers game. And oh, by the way, I don't know if people know this. You get a perfect score, you get the opportunity to go into another competition, kind of you get leveled up. You get called up to the big leagues, if you will, if you get a perfect score. So 919-860-5326. That's why I often say, even if somebody has a perfect score before you, like keep gunning for the perfect score. There are benefits to it anyway. I've never heard anyone not be excited about what they get to do on the basis of their perfect score. All right, Max is grabbing the phone. That means Sean in Holly Springs will be jumping in to face Eamon in Philly. Let's go ahead and bring Eamon on. We'll ask them both the same question, and Max will pick his favorite answer, and we'll go from there. Eamon in Philly, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Earlier today, we did a blind ranking, so Max had me rank months on the sports calendar. So I'll just ask you, what's the best month for sports?
October, for sure.
I believe October ended up number one on my list. Max, any follow-ups? Nope. All right, you're good to go. We'll go to Sean in Holly Springs. Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Same question to you based on our blind ranking earlier. What is the best sports month? What is the best month on the sports calendar?
I was going to go with October as well, but I'll switch up and go to March for March Madness.
All right. Any follow-ups, Max? You're good to go. All right, are you rolling with Eamon in Philly, who said October, or Sean in Holly Springs, who would have said October but instead flipped it up to March?
I mean, they basically had the same answer, and I appreciate the pivot there. And personally, I love March Madness, but if you both basically have the same answer, you got to go with the first guy. So we'll let Eamon and Philly go first.
All right, Eamon and Philly will get to go first. Don't worry, Sean, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a minute or two. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Eamon, are you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right, the categories are NFL, the places you'll go. So these are all players whose names have something geographic in them, city name or whatever. MLB, Sacrifice Kings. These are players who led the league in sacrifice bunts at some point in their career. NBA, Russell Westbrook teammates. So they were teammates with Russ at some point in their careers. Or NHL, Hurricanes only.
Can we go with the Russell Westbrook teammates, please?
We absolutely can. These are all players that played with Russell Westbrook at some point in their careers, all NBA teammates of Russell Westbrook. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Okay, and it's the jersey number they wore like when they were on the team with Russ?
This will be, I will say, a team and a player. You give me the jersey number when that player was on that team.
Okay.
Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
34.
Incorrect. James Harden, Houston Rockets.
13.
Correct. Serge Ibaka, Oklahoma City Thunder.
9.
Correct. Anthony Davis, Los Angeles Lakers.
3.
Correct. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
27.
Correct. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
13.
Incorrect. Domantas Sabonis, Sacramento Kings.
13.
Say 13 one more time for us.
13.
Yeah, it's not that one. Domantas Sabonis with the Kings wore number 11, so you were close. By the way you reacted to not knowing Sabonis the first time, I thought we were in for a long time, turn there. But you ended up getting 4 out of 5. Solid number. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up for the win, okay? That brings us to Sean in Holly Springs. Sean, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, the places you'll go. All players with geographic elements or city names in their name somewhere. MLB, Sacrifice Kings, players who led the league in sacrifice bunts. Or NHL, Hurricanes only.
Let's go Canes.
All right. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. So I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There'll be 30 seconds on the clock, 1 pass if you need it. You need all 5 for the win, but we've seen it done. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Nikolai Ehlers, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Incorrect. Nick Delorier, Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, Lord. 42.
Incorrect. Nikolai Ehlers, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Incorrect. Nick Delorier, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Morgan Geekie, Carolina Hurricanes.
6.
Incorrect. Nikolai Ehlers, Carolina Hurricanes.
13.
Incorrect. Nick Delorier, Carolina Hurricanes.
26.
Incorrect. Morgan Geekie, Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, that was rough.
Were you in on the joke of just saying 13 a whole bunch of times after I had the last guy say 13? Because if so, I mean, knowledge of Kane's jersey number is not great, but comedic timing would have been impeccable.
Yeah, that was a rough one right there.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you for jumping straight into the arena there. Nikolai Ehlers, 27. Nick Delorier, 44. Morgan Geekie, 43 or 67 is what we were looking for. But when the person before you gets 4 out of 5, it's a tough spot to go. So that 0 out of 5, could have been a 3 out of 5. Would have been the same result. Either way, Eamon is the winner. Eamon, congratulations.
Thank you.
You are the winner. As we said, you get the tickets to see Skillet. So enjoy that. Just stay in the line, and Max will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
All right, thank you.
I wasn't sure if he was in on it because I did the 13 joke. Because he was throwing 13 in there, for the Canes, quite a bit for some guys that are not anywhere near 13. He should have just leaned into it and been like, yeah, I'm a funny guy. What do you want?
I think he guessed Ehlers. I think he might have guessed 13 for him like 3 times.
Sometimes I think my my incorrect should get more like incorrect. Like I should let them know like you're way off, but that's unfair. I do catch myself, and this goes for everybody. I catch myself trying to like telepathically tell you like you're way off. I can't let that show, but I'm doing my best because I don't like people to be way off. I don't like offers. I thought we might have been in for a bad one with Eamon. Then he got 4 out of 5, so didn't have to do anything to help him out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. I told you this earlier. My whole family was sick the past couple of days. That's why I wasn't on the show. And, there is some peace of mind that comes with having a house that's running correctly. So when you're getting the shivers and then the sweats and the shivers, like I'm sick. It's not just, you know what? My air conditioner isn't working. So the silver lining there. My heating and cooling was working perfectly with the house. Even when we were sick, our own heating and cooling was not working perfectly. So if your heating system, your cooling system, let's not even start about plumbing analogies you make to being sick. You just want your plumbing working, I'll tell you that much. Plumbing, electrical work, if anything's not working in your house, you need to call the equivalent of a doctor for your house. Make it Maynard Service Company. That is all across the triangle, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when I say all across the triangle, I mean not only all of Wake County, but 50 miles in any direction from Wake County. You see their blue trucks everywhere, Maynard Service Company. They're a part of your community. So if you have something going on in your house, give them a call. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. 0993, or visit them online at MainorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Coming up next, the SEC. Are they really thinking about leaving the NCAA? Speaking football here. They hinted at it at media days. I'll tell you why I'm not believing them, or at least I hope you shouldn't believe them. Next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
He, Rich Paul, and whoever is in the small circle of people in the know knew that they were going to have to weather this. Everyone being annoyed at the delay in the indecision. It's almost as if he's enjoying this because he knows we're all chomping at the bit for this information, and he knows that there's an internal countdown in his head being like, okay, just wait, it's going to happen here.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Yeah, can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
OAR, 3 Decades Tour. July 29th at Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Featuring all of the band's career-defining hits and fan favorites. With special guests, Gavin DeGraw. Lisa Loeb. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Southern States Mazda Concert Series, presented by Live Nation.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's wealth coach and author of the big book on retirement, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, explain what's factored in when using your financial fill-up strategy in retirement planning.
The magic here is you tell us what kind of paycheck you're making now, and we make sure that you get at least that, if not more. We like to factor in more money in retirement. There's a lot of planners that say you only need 60 or 70% of what you're earning now to retire. What kind of retirement would that be if you don't have the same amount of money coming in? I want 130% money coming in from my clients or myself. I want more 200%. You want more money coming in retirement because every day is a weekend. And I spend a lot more money on Saturday and Sunday than I do Monday through Friday. I don't know about you, but I do. There's no games or gimmicks, so make sure you're dealing with a true fiduciary planner. Call right now, and you can get that done as soon as next week.
888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
It's your turn to play with the new Scratch Off, Fast Play, and Digital Instance games from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Spin your way toward a $200,000 Scratch Off top prize, or go for a jackpot with Digital Instance and Fast Play. Plus, enter for a chance to win a VIP trip for 2 to see Wheel of Fortune in LA. Come on, big money! Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.76 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by All-Star Dog Training. You've seen their dogs featured in college and professional sports. They can train your dog too. Visit allstardogtraining.com and schedule your free evaluation today.
Michael McDonald at a break. Enjoy it, everybody. You're on the show again tomorrow, right?
Yep.
All right, so we'll have more Michael McDonald tomorrow. You only need to get half your fill today. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The SEC at the SEC Media Days, SEC Kickoff, whatever you want to describe it as, did the whole posturing like they're going to leave the NCAA thing. And this wasn't the posturing of, we're going to be a super league or football needs to break off. There's a lot of smart people that think football should just be treated as a different entity than the rest of college football, or the rest of college sports, excuse me. This was the SEC threatening to leave everybody else in the dust. And I had flashbacks. Not deja vu's like, oh, they're doing this again and just making fun of the SEC for, posturing and never doing anything. I had flashbacks to Max, something that you and I both tracked because we're both fans of the sport. Live golf. And I'm big on the phrase or the cliche that smart people learn from their own mistakes, wise people learn from the mistakes of others. If you're going to start a competing league, you can't do it with some of the biggest names in the sport. You can't do it with a good amount of the biggest names in the sport. If you're going to try to compete with an established league, you better take darn near all of the biggest names in the sport. Because Live took some stars, okay? Live Golf took from the PGA some of the biggest names in the sport. And I don't even think we recognize or remember now how big some of these guys were. Because it's not just Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm and Phil Mickelson. Like, Cam Smith was on the up and up. Like, there were players that I feel like have been robbed of being seen as great players because they went to Live. But the issue with Live is obviously everything off the course. We don't got to get into that. But the issue with Live is they left enough stars with the PGA that people who are resistant to change and people who are just like what they like didn't have to follow you. And if the SEC moves on, if the SEC separates and they're doing their own thing somewhere else, you'll take the diehards of those schools, just like the diehard Phil Mickelson fans or the diehard Brooks Koepka fans went with Live. But the casual fans are going to go, I watched the PGA, and yeah, Rory's still here. You know what I mean? Rory's still here, and that there's enough for me. Tiger, when he plays like once every 4 years, he's here. Like, that's good for me. If the SEC leaves, as they're threatening or say, the frustration is mounting, we're going to want to leave. If it happens, all you're going to do is make Clemson and Miami into bigger stars. All you're going to do, and if they leave and don't take the Big Ten, they're even bigger idiots. If they can somehow get the Big Ten to leave with them, all you're doing is like, we're going to get more Deion Sanders. Because sports fans don't like new leagues. We like records, right? There's the great scene. It's a interesting movie. I think the baseball is actually a really good movie, but the rest of it's a little up and down. For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner, where he's on a first date and he's like, we count everything in baseball. It's not just baseball. We count everything in sports. We want those records to matter. Right? We want to be able to compare kids today to the kids that were kids when we were kids. Like, we do all of that. And if you move on, it's not the same. It's not. When Bryce or we'll go Bryson DeChambeau sets a Live golf record, it doesn't mean the same as when Rory sets a PGA record. One has history. Same would be true here. Like, SEC records, gone, who cares? It wouldn't be called the SEC, by the way. It'd be called something else. That whole whatever it is, it just wouldn't be the same. So the reason why I make the comparison is I don't think you have to bend to the mercy of the SEC if you're the NCAA. But you should notice what they're complaining about. The PGA Tour didn't have to bend over backwards to give Phil Mickelson everything he wanted, but they did have to bend over backwards to give the people that stayed what they wanted, right? The PGA is in a much healthier financial place for its players, and they're still making tweaks and changes because Live left and forced them to do that. So the NCAA should consider making changes. They just should not consider making concessions to the SEC. And that's where some smart things can happen, right? Under the same umbrella, break football off, right? Change up the way you maybe get everybody together and sell media rights like the NFL does. Like you can do some things here that the PGA and college football and the NCAA have been really reluctant to make because somebody is willing to go out there and make some threats. But I don't believe you have to kowtow to the SEC. If they want to leave, go great. See ya. You're gonna take some of the brand names that we really value, but but we're going to have enough. And you know what else we're going to have? History, relationships, and people don't like change. And in college football, it's even better. Do you know why? Because the entire rosters, it used to be 4 years, now it's 5. The entire rosters change over every 5 years anyway. So we're used to change. What we're not used to, we're used to change as far as names. We're not used to change as far as leagues and logos and teams and that sort of deal. That we're going to be very protective of. Very protective of. So I'm looking at the SEC going like, I'm straight calling bluffs because they're aware of it. They're not dumb. If they take the Big Ten, it becomes a little bit more real, but they still won't be able to hold up an NCAA championship trophy. In the same way, Liv kind of worked, until like all their players recognized like they weren't getting world golf ranking points, and they weren't going to be able to stay in majors forever, and they weren't going to get to hold the trophies that they care about, and they weren't going to get to do all of that. Same thing would happen. Same thing would happen. When whoever stays is raising the Heisman every year, when whoever stays is hoisting the national championship trophy every year, and they're winning the Rose Bowl every year, and they're doing all that. Meanwhile, you're over there winning some, Live Abu Dhabi trophy that was 3D printed 2 years before. It's not going to do the same deal. And also, I said it earlier, nobody overinflates the value of themselves like SEC football. Nobody overinflates the value of what they do and what they bring like SEC football. And that's not saying they don't bring anything, because I actually think, SEC football is awesome. Okay, I'm not saying it's not good, but I am saying they think they're 10 miles ahead of everybody. Even if you agree they're ahead of everybody, it's 2 miles. And it's a long race. You can make up 2 miles. This is a car race I'm talking about. This is not a running race. You can start anew. You can do it. But y'all better bring all of the big names that you can. Because if it's established leagues, I don't know if this is a good analogy. You can tell me if you can be the voice of the people, Max. It's like I guess worms are this way. Maybe coral is this way, where like, if you chop them up into tiny little pieces, they all just grow back.
Yeah.
You got to like pulverize the entire organism to do away with them. If you leave just a pinky of college football within college sports, the pinky is going to thrive and it's going to grow everything back from it.
I think everybody would do just fine if the SEC decided. Of course, it would be incomplete. It's the same as like weekly PGA Tour stops without the live guys, right? Like it's pretty good. It's still pretty enjoyable, but be better if all the guys were there instead of a couple splintering off. The same could be said for the SEC. Like, if you guys want to go and do your own thing, whatever. Everybody else in college football is going to have fun over here playing against each other in the spirit of competition instead of making it about, actually we want to make the most money, so we're going to we're going to take our ball and go home.
Yeah, I also think they are underestimating how much we will hate somebody else for chasing money when, in a lot of cases, I think we would chase money. Right? Like you never know until you're put in that situation.
And they're still making so much money as it is.
But I think it's mostly the schools and coaches that would be profiting the most from a move. But my point is, like, if a player, let's say they break out at NC State in the NCAA structure, and then the next year they get paid 4 times as much to go to some SEC side league, like the amount of vitriol that would come from college football fans towards that person would be insane.
And this shouldn't be the case, but to a level, like there's like fan rivalry, like hate, and like actual like vitriolic hate. But like as much as players already get kind of that stuff now, if they transfer, like imagine doing that and just leaving, leaving just altogether basically the sport for another league, like all just for the sake of the dollar. It's I don't think it'd be very pretty.
I think we will like actively not watch your team if that happens.
That's fine. Well, if they probably stick it on front front and center on ESPN. Actually,
I don't think they would.
It'd be a doubleheader with the Pat McAfee show every day.
I don't think they would, because ESPN has a locked-in contract with the SEC, and if the SEC separates, like, the ESPN's not going to be cool with that.
Do you think they'd just do, like, if this ever actually happened, would they just do like in-house, or you want to do media rights?
They'd have to sell it to someone else.
But all these other major stations already have college football.
That's what I'm saying.
Media.
I think it would be on the CW like Liv was. I think it would be on Discovery. You'd be like, hey, up next after Georgia Alabama Super League action, here's infomercials. This is the Home Shopping Network. Like it's
on QVC.
Yeah, it's going to be. I just don't think. When Kirby Smart is up there like, yeah, I'm leaving, it's like, have you thought about this at all? Or are you just mad because, all the money that used to funnel into your pockets are now going to the players? Never makes any sense to me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, nearing the end of the show. Feel good, everybody. I'm glad to be back. As I said, my Iron Man streak of no sick days for the history of my professional career, going back over a decade, is over. But you do get a jolt when you come back from a sick day. I've never experienced this either. So I'm back. I'll be back tomorrow. Max will be back with us, by the way. So you'll get more Michael McDonald. Speaking of Michael McDonald on the way out, can we get that rolling here? It's so entertaining to me. Enjoy some Michael McDonald on the way out. Follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't buy this line that Carolina only won the cup because Florida